on your own future role, and good thing too. Libra. Events which take place now could make you less inclined to count the cost of a relationship which may have lost its glitter. In other words, be thankful for what you have and don't expect people to be things they're not. Scorpio. There are no simple solutions. However, you can ensure that others take you at your word and give you the necessary backing. The emotional situation at the moment could be rather fraught if you fail to notice that partners require 10 times the normal dose of affection. Sagittarius. You have learned many harsh lessons in the past, but now you must take on the hardest of all, to trust other people. Fortunately, the emotional issues seem to be slight, so only practical problems need to be faced. Partners will appreciate a business-like approach. Capricorn. Your chart is like a maze, and it's all a question of finding your way to the heart of the matter. For reasons best known to yourself, you appear to be caught between two emotional choices. Aquarius. An opportunity which materializes sometime over the next few weeks could enable you to make a completely fresh start. The absolutely vital point now is to talk about all your plans, even at the risk of being thought silly. If partners don't understand you, that's their problem. Pisces. You are in a creative mood, and both at work and at home, you should find ways to enjoy even the dullest activities. If new purchases or investments are under scrutiny, keep talking and check the facts. You'll be in a much stronger position if you actually know what's going on. And that's the end of the horoscope for today, Thursday, 22 July 2020, brought to you with the kind compliments of Jyoti's Puja Store of Main Road, Chase Village, for all your puja needs. And if you're celebrating your birthday today, well, happy birthday to you from the management and staff of U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. And two things to remember in life: take care of your thoughts when you're alone, and take care of your words when you're with people. Stay tuned to U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio for great programming throughout the day. Up next is You Talk with Kenrith Jagannath. I am Irma Ratan Singh, wishing you a safe, blessed and positive day ahead. Remember to wear your masks, sanitize and practice social distancing.
Well, that's your dose of today's horoscope with Uma Ratan Singh. You can join her again tomorrow, just after the 6 o'clock hour. I'll be present to you another horoscope. Stay with us here, 975 FM Hot Like Pepper, as we continue with today's edition of the morning program, You Talk on 975. Note that both Nicole Duque and myself, well, we will be taking you until the hour of 9 this morning, as we continue to look at the issues of today, look at all of the developments taking place in the politics of Trinidad and Tobago, and yes, engage discussion with a number of stakeholders. Stay with us, 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. Let's go to some commercials here this morning.
Jyoti's Puja Store is your one-stop puja store for all puja, wedding and cremation materials. Also available books, mithai and murtis made to order. Visit Jyoti's Puja Store today and be greeted with the kindest and most courteous staff with best prices and secured parking. Jyoti's Puja Store located at 542 Southern Main Road, Chase Village, Shigwanas. Contact 671-3849.
U97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio will be bringing you coverage of Election Day 2020. Look out for live capsule reports throughout the day as you make your way to the polls. Then you can join our live panel discussion from 8 p.m. as we bring to you the election results. Exclusive on U97.5 FM.
Join us on the journey to the polls. Find out about the candidates, the campaigns, the promises, and much more. You can now listen to your daily dose of politics, Mondays to Fridays at 1 p.m. right here on U97.5, Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio.
Yes, indeed, and a very good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and thank you very much for choosing 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio as your medium of choice. I am Kenrick Jargonaut, and at this time, let's take a look at some of the stories as published in today's edition of the Newsday newspaper. Note that you can go outside there and purchase your copy of this publication. It is priced at only $3, and it's available at all leading newsstands throughout Trinidad and Tobago. The Newsday newspaper. Today, it's a Thursday, July 23rd, 2020, and in today's edition, 72 pages in total. On the cover of today's edition, a very graphic photograph indeed. Two women protecting themselves from the COVID-19 virus by wearing face shields as they walk along Charlotte Street in Port of Spain yesterday. Now, that story would have gripped Trinidad and Tobago. Two more COVID-19 cases, according to the Ministry of Health. We have got now in the country 141 cases of COVID-19. The scare yesterday in Port of Spain, but from all apparent reports, the government of the day seems to have everything under control thus far. One of the cases, number 139, is still under investigation as to where that individual would have contracted the virus. So we'll continue to keep you abreast and monitor the situation. Concern over COVID-19 cases with no travel history exposed here. That's the banner headline in today's edition. The story said, despite displaying flu-like symptoms, one person who ignored COVID-19 guidelines may have exposed hundreds in the country to the virus. The patient, the report said, has no travel history, visited several businesses, and interacted with relatives and family members over the last 7 days. So we'll keep you posted and we'll keep you up to breast as that development continues. Now, this is a very interesting story, and according to the report in today's Newsday, some returnees refusing to sign quarantine forms. Now, this is a concern to the Minister of Health, Terence Dialsing, and he would have spoken about this at yesterday's briefing, that is the COVID-19 briefing. The story said, before boarding their return flights, nationals may have to sign a quarantine form agreeing to go into immediate 14-day quarantine on arrival at the Piarco International Airport. Health Minister Terence Dialsing said this was because some of those returning have been refusing to go into quarantine after they land in T&T, and this is a threat to the healthcare system and the economy. So we'll deal with that a bit later on in the program. India-based Trinidad and Tobago students, we are so happy to be home. 5 Trinidad and Tobago students who were studying in India are happy and grateful after returning home on a Tuesday evening. San Fernando declared safe after court bomb scare. No suspicious explosive devices were found at the High Court on Harris Street in San Fernando on Wednesday morning after a bomb threat made by phone. That story, it's on page 3, and you can catch the details. Well, the wave of criminality continues in Trinidad and Tobago, and as we focus on what is happening in Tobago, Tobago's second double murder for 2020, gunmen ambush car. Tobago recorded its 6th and 7th murders for 2020 after a shooting incident in Concordia left 2 dead and 1 wounded on Tuesday night. Yes, as we continue to keep you abreast of some of the stories published in today's edition of the Newsday newspaper on page 7. Acting Prisons Commissioner testifies for accused in Dana Sita Hall inquiry. That story on page 7. Security guard's gun accidentally fired in police station. Allegation of serial rapist in Point Fortin. Commissioner of Police, no knee-jerk reaction to politicians. Those stories on page 7. Now, this is something which we should be monitoring from this morning until the weekend. We're talking here about the tropical storm Gonzalo. It's a possible hurricane by Thursday to pass north of Trinidad and Tobago. The Met Office has forecast that tropical storm Gonzalo will pass just north of this country on Saturday. In an advisory yesterday, it is reported that Tropical Depression 7 had developed into Tropical Storm Gonzalo. So we'll continue to monitor that. Before I got into the studio here this morning, I was trying to get in touch with Dr. Alan Sami, who is the chair of the Penal Debe Regional Corporation, to get his thoughts on preparedness for any eventuality. No doubt, in the coming days, according to the Met Office, this country, we can expect some very heavy showers indeed, and no doubt that those people who are living in low-lying areas, especially those prone to flooding, well, you need to take all the necessary precaution. Now, I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so. I told you so. You see, sometimes as politicians, you try to grab headlines and you make all sort of controversial statements and comments. Now, this morning we are hearing, or rather, yesterday evening in the newscast, we are hearing that Kamala Prasad Bisesa, the opposition leader, had to backtrack on her recent pronouncement concerning the returning of nationals to this country. But it's something which we will deal a bit later on the program. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, the UNC government will be guided by COVID-19 protocols. So I wonder who is guiding the present administration? Whether it has been these advice coming from somebody else, well, we just do not know. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, UNC government will be guided by COVID-19 protocols. So who else do we expect to guide you? Anyway, Jack Warner, I'll blow your mind on August 10th. Yes, the Independent Liberal Party is back in the fray again, although with one candidate. In this respect, ILP candidate Jack Warner, well, he's contesting the Lopino Bonner West constituency. He is telling the people of that constituency, or most of Trinidad and Tobago, well, quote, I'll blow your mind on August 10th. That story is on page 11. Alvarez questions cleansing of a gypsy from PP corruption allegations. MSJ Point Fortin campaign obeying COVID-19 rules. Small contractors to NIDCO chairman, you are insulting us. As I said, those are about some of the stories as published in today's edition of the Newsday newspaper. I'm urging you to go outside there, purchase your copy of this publication. It's available at all leading newsstands. It's just priced at $3. It's a chock full of news, views, interviews, and you can get the latest in the world of sport. We're talking about the world of sport. Tomorrow, West Indies will be coming up against England in that crucial third test match. Now, that test match will determine who walks away with the Wisden Trophy. Yes, the series are tied at 1-1 after 2 tests. And tomorrow, the West Indies take on England in that third and final test. Well, according to West Indies assistant coach Roddy Estwick, he said, there can't be any excuses in terms of fitness or fatigue as the regional team prepare to play a third test match in quick succession against England on their current tour. So you can catch the details, as I said, on page 38 of today's edition of the Newsday newspaper. It's just about 6:30 here in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of the People's National Movement candidate for the constituency of Vancouver South. Let's take these callers on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Ken. How are you?
Good morning, my friend, and how are you this morning?
With you, preparing for the storm that's about to hit us Saturday somewhere along the line.
Gonzalo,
Spanish name, eh?
Yes,
Spanish
yes.
Name. Ken?
No, but hold on. Before you continue with your contribution, I now recognize the voice. You would have been one of those persons who would have endorsed the call by Kamla Persad-Bissessar into, let's say, bring all our nationals back home. Now that we have case number 139 and 141 being investigated, and Kamla Persad-Bissessar, in my humble opinion, is now backtracking or is now eating her words about open the borders. What are your thoughts?
Well, Ken, let me tell you something. Countries which have opened their borders, right?
Mm-hmm.
The people who have returned, they were being tested,
Mm-hmm.
It's not that countries were admitting the national carte blanche, That is something that people
No,
understand.
that's not the point I'm trying to drive home with you. I am finding it and I'm very strange indeed that the opposition leader can have two-face and speak with forked tongue on this matter. On one matter, you call on the government of the day to bring all nationals back home. Now you are saying you'll be guided by the protocols. Really?
Well, that is her view that possibly she wasn't thinking about protocols, but I think most other people who were actually calling for national security were indeed thinking about protocols too. I don't think no right-thinking person would have actually thought about bringing people in carte blanche. All the countries even look. I mean, Jamaica.
No, but you would have been one of those who would have endorsed Kamla Persad-Bissessar, where she would have called on the government of the day to open the borders.
Ken, I never said I have endorsed anybody. I was speaking right from my mind, right, that the borders ought to be opened. I didn't speak about observant protocols. I just kind of, read that in, that it was a natural, progression that we would, when these people come, do testing and so forth.
All right. Let's go on. What's on your mind this morning? Go ahead.
Yeah. My thinking is this, we again the border situation, right? Our legal borders are closed, right, virtually. That's true. But I still say, as I have been saying to you, loads of Venezuelans are coming in and have been coming in, and we would have to be very, very stringent as to actually manning our non-legal borders. I have been saying so, right? For us now to, suddenly get this community, thing, something had to go wrong. Who gave these people, not certainly those foreigners who came into the legal borders?
No, but hold on. You cannot blame the government in this respect. I'll tell you why.
No, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm saying that our borders, these people like Guayagorari and, Cedrus and so forth, we certainly needed personnel, or we need personnel to actually be very, very vigilant as far as looking at those areas.
No, but hold on. You're calling on the authorities of the day to be vigilant. But who's to say the authorities of the day are not vigilant? The Ministry of National Security, and by extension the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, would have given the country the assurance that all efforts are being made to ensure that Venezuelans, so to speak, do not enter the country through the porous borders. They would have put their foot on the accelerator to increase patrols and what have you. But if you read your report, you have senior police officers in this country aided by nationals of this country who are responsible for such.
Yeah. Well, I mean, certainly, I look at administration of justice and so forth as not only the official government organizations, but also those peripheral organizations in the police force and in general.
All right, let's take another caller on the line. Anyway, the caller has gone. Let me say a very special good morning to the lovely Nicole this morning. Good morning to you, Nicole.
Good morning to you, Kenrick.
You're stretching, I think so, you. Huh?
Good morning to our listeners on U97.5. Good morning to our viewers on RCLU 97.5. What's happening, Kenrick? A lot is happening.
A lot is happening. Sometimes I am at a loss to know what to discuss on morning. But I want to discuss this matter, given the fact that we would have gotten 2 or 3 cases. Case number 139 and 141
Yes.
is under investigation.
Yes.
And that's why I challenged the caller this morning. Because
Kenrick.
there are a number of people like him who have been calling on the government of the day, open the borders, let our nationals come back home.
Henrik, I am so disappointed. I was listening to the Ministry of Health press conference yesterday, and I am hearing the Minister of Health speaking about the challenges that they are having with the return of nationals to this country. And he is saying that these persons are refusing to sign quarantine forms. They don't want to go to these step-down facilities. So then I, in my humble opinion, leave them where they are, because come on, they are bringing you home. At least abide by the laws. Stay in quarantine 14 days, wouldn't kill you. Stay out of the country so long, but you want to spend, you're having an issue to stay 14 days.
Well, you see, as a people, we have a tendency to want to eat the cake all by ourselves. We want things our way.
Yeah.
This is a very unusual situation. You have to abide with the regulations, and the government of the day is being guided by the necessary protocol. That's why and I want to hear what our callers are saying today about Kamla Prasad-Bissessar.
And then my question is how? How do we have cases, persons who were not quarantined? How? Where these 2 cases came from, Kenrick?
All right, sorry to miss your call. Now, the opposition leader is now taking a different position. You know, we will be guided by the protocol. So the People's National Movement Administration were being guided by whom? Being guided by whom?
I wonder.
This is the very same opposition leader who spoke about the climate and sunlight and so on, you know. The very same opposition leader, you know. Just to grab headline, just to be sensational. And who vexed me, laws, but that's the truth.
But isn't this the same opposition leader who has been clamoring for the government to bring nationals home, to open borders?
Open the borders.
I mean, she disappointed me, yeah? She really disappointed me with that.
All right, let's take another call on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Good
Good morning to you. And I want you to give me credit this morning, and I'll tell you why. Because I stood firm to my conviction that the borders should not open. I stood firm to my conviction that those people who coming into the country must be tested and must be quarantined, despite what the opposition would have said.
But I'm telling you, from the beginning, I know that you start this coronavirus when one person down in China, they have it. And you tell people, be careful, this thing will spread, and nobody listen to you. And when it spread, everybody started to go on it, like if it belonged to them or whatsoever. Even the opposition leader backtracking.
No, as leaders of a country, you cannot be reckless. You cannot make a statement to make an administration look bad. Where this is not a party issue, you know. This is a national issue.
Exactly.
This is a global phenomenon.
And this has nothing to do with the impending elections. You have to think.
When I heard a lot of people say, open the border, and you're suffering the people down there, and you're suffering them here, and the ministry had to come out every day and explain. It's good for the government and the ministry too, because we're telling you, do not leave, because you give people time to come back in the country, and they refuse.
They refuse to sign quarantine forms. They refuse to go in quarantine.
Imagine
they refuse to go to the step-down facilities.
You're refusing to go in the quarantine, and you refuse it.
Leave them right there.
I would have signed money and put them on that plane and send them back where they come from there.
I was leaving them.
I don't have vexed when I hear this thing going on. I realize that because we try to protect ourselves. We ain't going nowhere. I ain't going in no public. I try to protect myself. My daughter is outside there working, my son outside there working, then protecting herself. And youth say, open border. You suffer with it. I don't know why, why she didn't give Devant Maharaja sister fight that he would have been a top person for shit. And he would have get everybody. He's going to cut down the fact why the people are not coming in and all that kind of foolishness. And we protecting ourselves from a disease that could kill everybody in this country. Later, partner, you take it.
All right, my friend. Well, it proves again that the government of Trinidad and Tobago, the decisions being taken, they are quite correct.
Very much so.
Very much correct.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Nicole. Out of the newsroom. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't the opposition leader, Kamala Prasad Bisesa, said that if she gets into government, she will open the borders? Correct me if I'm wrong, any caller outside here. Correct me if I'm wrong.
But she has been clamoring for the opening of the borders.
So, no, yes. Why are you singing a different song?
Yes. And Kenrick, you see this situation, it raises so many different questions because there could be the possibility of locking back down the country. And I would not say no to a lockdown because of what is happening now. Oh. And then the other thing is, what about the election?
When you listen to Health Minister Terence Dial-Singh yesterday,
yes,
there was this hint coming from him, you know.
Well, Kenrick, in case you didn't know, there will be a Ministry of Health press conference today. You know, normally they don't have.
And
yes.
You see,
so there's one today at 11 o'clock. So
people have a tendency to just talk off the top of their head, but they do not listen, you know.
Yes.
The health minister said, or rather hinted, that there could be further repercussions.
Of course.
Further action being taken. It's to protect the greater interests of the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
To save lives.
Not to make a decision based on emotion. Well, we want to come back home. We're suffering. Really?
It's about saving lives. It's not about anything else. And people are not understanding this.
All right. So, the Minister of Health would have said yesterday that some returnees, that is people who have been given the permission to return to the country, they would have been given a blight. Some of them are refusing to even fill out the form and so on. There are protocols to follow. There are guidelines to follow. All they want to go home in all the house and relax as though everything is normal. Behave all yourself, people. All they want to put the entire population of Trinidad and Tobago at risk. Come on, we have to be a bit more disciplined than that.
People are not paying attention to what's going on across the world. People are not paying attention to that because had they been paying attention, they would have been, they would have agreed with the policies that are being put in place and the decisions that the government is taking to protect the lives of citizens in this country.
The World Health Organization is stating that the Americas, more so the United States, Mexico,
look how close
Brazil,
they are to us. Look at how close.
These countries are the epicenter of the virus, and we are just in the middle of all of that, Nicole.
Exactly. Look how close. I don't understand.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Good morning, Kenrick. Good morning, Nicole.
Good morning.
Trinidad Tobago.
Well, some people will vex with me this morning, Larry.
No, little vex. At the end of the day, Kenrick, let me tell you personally from my point of view. My family is abroad in a country that has COVID, and cases are rising every day. I am worried about them. But I told my wife, do not file for any exemption. Stay there, because at the end of the day, if you come here and your quarantine is not comfortable enough for you, I go be a different man. Right? So I tell them, stay up there until further notice. I mean, I have not clamored yet to say, well, I want my family back home. No. We have to sacrifice ourselves on here to make sure that we are safe. That is the reason why I said, if the amount of countries were sending money to this country, the government had a right to send money to citizens of Trinidad and Tobago who went on vacation, not who was residing, and deal with it in that manner so that nobody can say they're suffering. But the biggest problem in my mind this morning, Kenrick, is what is approaching us for Saturday.
Very much so, Larry.
That is my biggest problem right now, because I'll tell you this much, Kenrick.
Well, I've been trying to get in touch with one of your favorite persons, Dr. Alan Sami.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, as far as I understand, the corporation has been cleaning water courses and they already have sandbags in preparation.
Right. Yesterday, number of people who know they are living in low-lying areas has went to the corporation disaster building in the back, and they have been getting sandbags to carry to their homes to do what they have to do. So people is really now taking the advice that, you should be prepared in case of what should happen. Because, Kenrick, just to inform you, the water course that comes down to David Pinal, Woodlands, and Francis comes all the way up from Rio Claro side. Mm-hmm. When you look at that, so even though according to the map they showed you, the geographical drawing they show you of how the outer feeder bands of this hurricane or storm, as the case may be, we could be getting rain up on the northeastern side of Trinidad and Tobago, but we will not experience the flood until maybe Sunday to Monday. Mm. And that is what I am worried about, because at the end of the day, just recently gone 3 weeks ago, you saw rain just fall for an hour and a half, and people lost in flood. Mm-hmm. And now you're looking at that tropical wave turning into a storm, then to develop into a hurricane. Do not wait.
Yes.
Wait, hold on. Do not wait for when the rains have to fall to call for help.
That's right.
Do your preparation. That is why yesterday evening when I finished work, Kenrick, I started to do some preparation home and put things on higher ground, because I've cast for first floor, then I went to the second floor. Mm-hmm. And I've started to put things on the first deck. So I am doing my preparation. I told my neighbors the same thing. I said, listen, later today, when I come over, I'll help all the raise all the fridge and all the washing machine and stuff. So we are trying to help each other out, and this is what a community is supposed to do, Kenrick. Everybody right now, Kenrick, is following the campaign trail. And you're talking about COVID-19. Kenrick, I think, and I believe now, the Minister of Health, Minister of National Security, and the Commissioner of Police should make it mandatory. Serious. Make it mandatory that you wear a mask. You know why, Kenrick, or a face shield? You know why? When you look at the campaign trail, everybody whining, dancing, and enjoying themselves, and they're not social distancing. They put it us. We people who following the guidelines, they're putting us at risk. And when they get sick, it is we the taxpayers who have to fund now to get them better.
Well,
we are citizens here, Kenrick. I mean, I work through the pandemic. I work through as an essential worker. And every business I go into, there was a sign market. If you cannot come into my establishment without a mask, do not enter.
Well, don't be surprised if that is addressed today at that
yes. And I believe, Kenrick, the Minister of Health with the CMO going to put back some restrictions in this country as of
but we do need those restrictions.
But hold on, Larry. Comment on this statement coming from opposition leader Kamala Prasad Bisesa. Backtracking now, changing her tune.
Kenrick, let me tell you this much, people might see it.
And you know why I'm saying that? But because people took issue with me.
Yeah, let me tell you this much, Kenrick. And I will say this, and who hates me for this, I don't give a damn. The opposition leader is making mistakes that she still made in 2015. She's making it again today. And these kind of claims that she's making, open the borders and the people coming, Kenrick, I'm not into that. I am protecting myself, and I'm doing every single thing that the CMO is putting out for me, and I'm following it, but I cannot abide with what the opposition leader is saying. I will not abide with it. But Kenrick, I want the Minister of Health, National Security Minister, and the Commissioner of Police get this passed and make it mandatory that everybody wear a mask, even if they are social distancing.
All right, Larry, thank you very much for your contribution with us this morning. We need to go to some commercials here at this time. It's just about 13 minutes here to the hour of 7 o'clock, and that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of Mr. Rajendra Rampasad, who is the People's National Movement candidate for the constituency of Vancouver South. Stay with us here, 975.
A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited of 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo for all your hardware materials from foundation to finish. Not forgetting all your general contracting needs. We have it all at A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited, located at 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. Just call Tiki Ali at 650-2180.
A&S Hardware are wholesalers and retailers of plywood, an assortment of lumber, galvanized pipe, hollow section, and steel. Customers can enjoy special prices on white pine and pitch pine doors.
The newest medical health facility in Central is opening. MediPlus Clinic and Imaging Center Limited of 103 Main Road, Balmain, Vancouver is having its grand opening on Friday, 24th July from 9 a.m. The first 50 patients can call 236-4624 or 235-4264 to book your free appointment for blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, urine tests, and vision screening. For more information on MediPlus, specialists, medical services, medical lab, and medical imaging, and coming soon X-ray dentistry. Visit MediPlus at 103 Main Road, Balmain, Couva, or call 236-4624 or 235-4264, or email mediplus@ramlagansholdings.com. Listen to U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio on Friday for a live broadcast from 9 a.m. Visit MediPlus for all your medical care and services.
Hello, I am Rajendra Ramprasad, your PNM candidate for Couva South. I ask for your support to take Couva South into government and to improve the quality of life for all of us. I have specific plans to create jobs, to improve agriculture, to revive Point Lisas, and to develop our infrastructure, also to enhance security. As a person born in Dow Village, California, and started my education at Esperanza Presbyterian School, I want to use my years as a successful businessman and a resident of Couva South to partner with you to make our communities better. I ask for your vote on August the 10th. Vote Rajendra Ramprasad, the right choice for a better Couva South. Vote PNM.
You can now listen to business news Monday to Fridays at 5 p.m. Get updated on all the latest business developments. Tune in to U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio, where we keep you informed, educated, and entertained.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Let me tell you something. Nothing was done under the PNM in the last 5 years. I ask this question. Are you satisfied with the crime statistic in the last 5 years? They say they're protecting the borders. That is not true. Guns and illegal people are still coming. Are you satisfied with that? Where's the support for victims of crime? Ask anyone. There is none. Didn't you feel safer under UNC? How many more must die? How many more will feel the pain? Every time PNM is in power, crime goes out of control. On August 10th, I am voting for safety. I am voting UNC. Talk done.
That was a paid political announcement.
Yes, indeed, and welcome back to 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. Just after the 7 o'clock hour, we will be chatting with Dr. Alan Sami, who is the chairman of the Penal Debe Regional Corporation, to get his thoughts on this impending system that is developing the east of Trinidad. Hello, good morning. All right, I'm sorry to miss your call. You need to call us back at 636-7547, 227-5739. And you can also WhatsApp us at 378-4975. You can also catch us live on YouTube at RCL U975. Let me repeat that again, RCL at U975. And you can also log on to 975radio.com. So you can catch us wherever you are.
And you can WhatsApp us.
Yes.
At 378-4975.
Yeah. So those are the mediums whereby you can catch us right here on a 975 FM, a Hot Like Pepper. We're heading up to the hour of 7 o'clock, just about 8 minutes here to the hour of 7. And that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of the Couva South candidate for the People's National Movement, Mr. Rajendra Ramprasad.
So I have a question for our callers this morning. Would you support a lockdown of the country, an immediate lockdown of the country? Kenrick, what are your thoughts?
No.
Why no?
No. I think if we do engage in a certain, when you say lockdown, you mean go back to our restrictions and so on. No, I think we have come too far. What we can do is instill greater guidelines and so on.
Given the fact that there is the possibility of community spread, you say no.
I'll say no, yeah. Because it has not been determined yet where, if there's a determination that it is community spread, coming from the chief medical officer, then maybe we can revisit that situation. But as of now, no. I think we'll be
I'm
sending.
disagreeing with you. I would support the fact that I would support restrictions we revert to those restrictions that we had previously.
It would be a better pill for the population to swallow, noting that we are now starting to get our feet back off the ground, so to speak.
Yes, but getting our feedback off the ground and knowing that the lives of citizens are being compromised is something else. So I'm all out for some restrictions.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
And good morning to you, Kenrick.
Good morning, Mr. Bank Village.
And good morning to the lady there.
Good morning.
To answer your question, I wouldn't agree that, because I think that the country went through enough. Business people has been set up. Business people has been lost. People had lost the job. People cannot survive, and the business can come back up. So I believe that what you should do, make sure and wear a mask, clean yourself, wash your hands, make sure and check you before you come into the compound, wherever you is, and, let us take it from there, because it's the people in the country that fight this COVID, not the government. The people in the country, because they take the measure.
No, how can you say it? It's the government of the day that introduces policies.
Internationally, they made it clear, and Trinidad follow suit, right?
So
I believe
hold on.
should take the credit.
We've been seeing a pattern. If you look at international news, most countries that would have raised their restrictions had to go back on restrictions because of the fact that the coronavirus was spreading rampantly in those countries. But we do not want that here in Trinidad and Tobago.
Much as I see your point, but the measure that they take, people following in this country.
But how come?
A way not following it the way they're supposed to be. I think Trinidadian is following it, and hats off to the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
All right, go ahead. I wouldn't argue with you with that. Go ahead.
All right. Now, I see now we getting some bad weather coming up, and I seen, a lot of rivers, especially main rivers like Caroni River and the Waima River. The clean Kenrick, if you drive, you will see far as your eye could see. And lower down to the sea and down to the swamp, going on the road, it is still in bush. You understand? So I only asking the authorities, you understand, who in charge, because people is the one that be suffering, because people still waiting, Kenrick, and a little bit of grant, a little bit of relief in the flood that take place in South, down Pinal, DB, all these other places and things. You understand? And I believe that the government of Trinidad and Tobago should take that responsibility and make sure and clean it right down to the end. You understand? And I will call back after your...
All right, no, well, I was going to challenge you and ask you about the responsibility of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago.
But the thing is, Kenrick, you remember, and I think we all could recall, if you were to see, even though we were under restrictions, and you would look at some offices outside the banks, outside the social services, the buildings in San Fernando, Tunapuna, all these places, there were so many long lines. It's not the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. The police service had to go out there to ensure that citizens were doing the right thing. So it's not the citizens. Had it not been for the authorities, we would have been in a more... we would have been in a bad state, because we had to, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, you have to force them to do what is right. They say, when I see the police, I do the right thing. And that is what we had. It's not the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm going to disagree with you this morning,
right.
Mr. Bank Village.
You see, some people have a tendency not to give the government credit. For the actions, decisions they would have taken. But the chief medical officer, Dr. Rushan Parasram, can only advise.
Yes.
It is the government of the day who needs to take the necessary advice seriously.
Exactly.
And
I commend him. I still believe he deserves the order of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
And if you look at what is currently taking place in the United States, President Donald Trump did not take his chief medical advisor seriously.
Exactly. And he was against wearing masks, and now he's saying that he's advising the population to wear masks.
It's a bit too late for that, Nicole.
Right?
Yeah. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I support you, Kenrick.
Yeah.
You don't, at this time, you don't need to shut down the country, but you need to implement the rules a little more stiff.
Agreed.
You need to make these things mandatory, put it by law, because there's a still lawless people in this country.
Thank you. Very much so.
Right? Masks should be by law. That is one. Washing, I see a lot of business people, they have the washing be outside, all well and fine. And the next thing is this temperature testing. The people, 350 for a temperature gun. Business people making more money than that when you want to invest and make it low that you have an employee testing, suit up and testing any person entering your business place. It could be a bar, it could be where. Make it low, because in the point leases, when you enter in the point leases, you are being tested in your vehicle and when you enter in. Let's make it low and we will help prevent this. We don't need to shut down the country because we have been burdened for a couple of months well. And we back on report, we're not 100, but we start back. Thanks.
Okay, my friend. Well, thank you very much. Well, folks, on that note, we need to head up to our 7 o'clock newscast. We'll take the 7 o'clock news with Nicole this morning. And when we come back, we will engage you again. Note that we'll be chatting with Dr. Alan Sami, who is the chair of the Penal Davie Regional Corporation. Stay with us here, 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper.
Time has come. New 97.5. Make it your choice. Something for everyone. 975 FM. Music for you. It's all about you.
U97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, multicultural radio.
Power to the listeners.
It is now time for Major News to the Hour, brought to you by Crystal Beverages Company, Super Quality Supermarket, Sheikh Elisha Limited, and the Trinidad and Tobago News Day.
This is the 7 a.m. news on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. I am Nicole Dookie. Good morning. The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management is urging citizens to be ready for the possible passage of Tropical Storm Gonzalo. The ODPM said it has been in touch with the various national agencies. These agencies have already begun to activate their preparedness plan. The ODPM insisted that citizens must take the necessary plan of action. Meanwhile, the island of Tobago is preparing for the impending bad weather this weekend as a result of Tropical Storm Gonzalo. Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly, Ansel Dennis, is scheduled to meet with the Tobago Disaster Management Committee. The Chief Secretary said the Tobago Emergency Management Agency continues to monitor the system. In its current analysis, the Met Office said Tropical Storm Gonzalo is expected to pass just north of Trinidad and Tobago.
Preparations are well on the way, and while now is not a time for panic, it is a time to ensure that all of us are prepared and ready for any eventuality with respect to that weather system that is approaching. We will continue to keep the public up to date on an hourly basis to ensure that we have accurate and predictable information going forward.
In some other news, there are 2 possible cases of community spread in Trinidad and Tobago. This as another case of COVID-19 was confirmed, taking the number to 141. According to the Health Ministry, case number 141 is pending further investigation. It also insists that case number 41 and case number 139 are not linked. Case number 39 was detected at a health center and is also pending further investigation. A statement issued by the ministry said it is unable to verify if these cases were imported or linked to an imported case. Nationals returning to this country are refusing to sign quarantine forms. This is according to Health Minister Terence Diyal Singh. He made this disclosure at yesterday's media briefing. Minister Diyal Singh explained that before being allowed to come home, these citizens agreed to sign the forms. However, he said when they come, they are refusing to abide by the rules. As a result, the minister said returning nationals will now be asked to sign the quarantine forms before they return to the country.
Dangerous precedent. The chief medical officer will explain to you the
importance of that quarantine form. And they are now refusing to sign the quarantine form once they land in Trinidad and Tobago.
Minister Dial Singh said the returning nationals are also refusing to be taken to quarantine sites.
When we allocate them to sites, they are now refusing to go to the allocated sites, and they are demanding to go to sites of their own choice. That is not a condition on bringing you back.
You are listening to the 7 a.m. news on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. It's time now to take a look at regional and international developments. We start with news from the region. Health officials in the British Virgin Islands are advancing plans to penalize persons who fail to comply with the COVID-19 guidelines. Health Minister Carvin Malone said business owners will also be penalized. He said legislation about coronavirus-related penalties will be heading to the House of Assembly soon. Malone made the remarks during a live public broadcast session on Tuesday. Internationally, President Donald Trump is to send a surge of federal security forces to U.S. cities in crackdown on crime. Chicago and 2 other Democratic-run cities are being targeted in the Republican president's move amid a spike in violence. But federal deployments in Portland, Oregon have proved controversial. Local officials say they have raised tensions amid going protests. Law and order has become a key plank of Mr. Trump's re-election bid in November. Since the death on May 25th of an unarmed black man, George Floyd, in police custody in Minneapolis, Minnesota, there have been protests, sometimes descending into civil disorder in scores of U.S. cities. Meanwhile, gun violence has spiked in metropolitan areas including New York City, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Chicago, and Milwaukee. In news of the weather for the period today until tonight, Trinidad, Tobago and the remainder of the Lesser Antilles will experience showery spells which will interrupt sunny conditions in few areas. Night will be mostly clear. Seas slice to moderate with waves 1.5 meters, occasionally up to 2 meters in open waters and less than 1 meter in sheltered areas. The current temperature is 27 degrees Celsius. And this brings us to the end of the 7 a.m. newscast on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. Stay tuned for another newscast at 8 a.m. I am Nicole Duki. Good morning.
That was Major News to the Hour, brought to you by Crystal Beverages Company, Super Quality Supermarket, Sheikh Leisha Limited, and the Trinidad and Tobago News Day. A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited of 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. For all your hardware materials from foundation to finish. Not forgetting all your general contracting needs. We have it all at A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited, located at 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. Just call Tiki Ali at 650-2180.
A&S Hardware are wholesalers and retailers of plywood, an assortment of lumber, galvanized pipe, hollow section, and steel. Customers can enjoy special prices on white pine and pitch pine doors.
Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, opposite the TSTT Exchange in Mayaro. We specialize in all types of meats, dry goods, liqueur, beverages, ice, LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liqueur, wholesale, and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you.
For
For quality items, visit Super Quality Supermarket of Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, as well as Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket, Cuba Car Park, for all your grocery items, liquor, fresh fruits, and vegetables, not forgetting their bed and bath section, and kitchen appliances for your home. With so many items to choose from, take advantage of our great prices and discounts at any of our 3 locations: Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Cuba. For quality items, Super Quality Supermarket and Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high quality unbleached bromate free all purpose and baker's flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisha Limited 665-3336 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisha Limited, quality you can trust.
You 97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio will be bringing you coverage of Election Day 2020. Look out for live capsule reports throughout the day as you make your way to the polls. Then you can join our live panel discussion from 8 p.m. as we bring to you the election results. Exclusive on U97.5 FM.
Join us on the journey to the polls. Find out about the candidates, the campaigns, the promises, and much more. You can now listen to your daily dose of politics, Mondays to Fridays at 1 p.m. right here on U97.5, Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio.
Yes, indeed, and a very good morning again, Trinidad and Tobago, and thank you very much for being with us here at 97.5. Well, the Trinidad and Tobago Met Service is tracking and monitoring this depression, a possible hurricane by Thursday, Tropical Storm Gonzalo. And one of the communities' jurisdiction that is prone to flooding in this country is the Penal Debe area. Well, with me on the line now is the chair of the Penal Debe Regional Corporation, Dr. Alan Sami. Let's take him live on air. Good morning, Dr. Sami, and thanks for taking our call this morning.
It's my pleasure.
All right, well, no doubt the Penal Debe Regional Corporation would be quite alert indeed. As head of the Penal Debe Regional Corporation in your capacity as chair, we're preparing for this tropical storm Gonzalo. What sort of plans have you put in place or are prepared to put in place to mitigate any sort of negative impact this will have on the communities in your jurisdiction?
Well, let me start by comparing where we were 1 year ago to today. 1 year ago today, in terms of resources, what we have done is acquired only a few additional bits of resources simply because we have not got the releases we expected. So by way of, we still have 2 dinghies, for example. We have a tent which we had loaned to the government for the COVID. We have not got it back, but we need it. It's central to operations. We have our rolling stock standing by, but they have not increased in numbers, so that we still have only 3 backhoes, for example. So in terms of internal organization, we are in contact with the shelters. We have identified 3 key shelters and 3 old villages, and we have also relationships with the Army and with other agencies that we normally have the relationships with. So those have been renewed, if you wish. So that, in that regard, we are prepared. But in terms of the field, that is to say, the condition of the road, the drains, we have not had much improvement over time. The Ministry of Works has come in. They have done some work in rivers along particular watercourses, but only for a few hundred meters. And of course, that's not good enough. It has to be for the entire stretch of the river course. So I anticipate that flooding this year will be as bad as last year.
No, you anticipate, as you would have said, the flooding to be greater this year as of last year. What are some of the challenges the corporation is having in trying to reach out to residents who complain bitterly and who lament about a poor drainage and the clearing of water courses and so on?
Well, 40% of Pinal Debe, as you probably know, lies within the Orpooch Drainage Basin, the South Orpooch Drainage Basin. It means then that there are water courses that we have, which are minor water courses, which we have been cleaning all the time. Then the Ministry of Works Drainage Division control the larger water courses, of which, depending on how you measure it, anything like 2 to 6. And then Ministry of Agriculture has some. And bear in mind there are a number of hundreds of acres of Caroni lands that have been abandoned that used to be drained by Caroni. So those water courses too flow into our water courses. Now, they've not been cleaned in the manner we have been petitioning to have them cleaned. So we have a major challenge there. And the water courses under which the water courses which we control, of which there are 99, we have cleaned them to the best of our ability. Many of them are roadside drains, but some also go through people's lands. We have some challenges even from the people themselves, but they are not the key contributors. It really requires a comprehensive development approach. And I'm fearful that that has not happened over the past year, in spite of literature which we have produced to the government, letters, exchanges of all kinds.
All right.
That has materialized in the way that we want.
All right. Dr. Sami, we are preparing for this tropical storm Gonzalo. It is expected to pass over Trinidad and Tobago, and more so on Tobago on Saturday. What are some of the immediate resources you have available to people who would want to take, let's say, precautionary measures, that is, sandbags and what have you?
Oh, yeah, well, all right. The sandbags. We bought 3,000 sandbags. We distributed yesterday, for example, by lunchtime at the Pinal site, 190. At the Debe site, we had distributed 57 already. Now, these are filled sandbags because we bought sand. So we have sand in sandbags, which are available to the public. We have been publicizing it on the social media. And, of course, each councillor in turn has been letting their people know, come for the bags. And that's how people are coming now to the two sites and are collecting their sandbags without too much fuss. And there's a formula we use, of course.
All right.
So that is happening. That is happening at this time.
You spoke, Dr. Sami, about shelters. Could you identify the shelters in the jurisdiction?
Yeah, well, we have some schools. Now, our problem is some schools are engaged, as you probably know, in the exams. So what we have done is we have looked at one in Picton, we have looked at one in the Pinal Rock Road area, and we have looked at one down in the in the Mendez area. And we are in conversation with those people who have the keys for those to be prepared for it. And I'm assured yesterday by our coordinator that they have been in contact with them and that we are prepared to go into those. I should point out, however, that people don't use the shelters in Pinal today. They go to extended families, even during Brett. And the worst one wasn't Brett. The worst one was last year, December. Nobody used a shelter. So people don't go into shelters, but we are still ready for them in the event that they have to use the shelter.
Is it, Dr. Simon, that people don't go to the shelter because they are not aware of where these shelters are located?
No, we have put the shelters are all in the middle of communities. So it's not that they are isolated or away from people.
All right.
People are accustomed using the shelters or the schools or whatever the shelters are. They're accustomed using them for whatever reason over time.
In preparation for this depression or storm / whatever you may want to describe it when it hits us on Saturday, have you had any discussion with, let's say, the emergency teams? Are we talking here about the ODPM and so on?
Yesterday there was a virtual meeting in which all the chairman and mayors together with the CEOs were involved. I couldn't get in because it's by link. And try all I may, I couldn't get in, but my CEO has briefed me on what the discussions focused on. So it's this same preparedness that I'm talking about that was the focus of that discussion.
All right. While we do not want to panic the population, most of those people who are living in these low-lying areas, what would be your message today to these people, Dr. Sami?
Well, I two things. I would ask them to please access the sandbags. They can go to Ramdari Trees in Pinal, or they can go to our building at 218 SS Erin Road in Debe. And the sandbags are available. They're available free. We ask certain things like how many doors do you have? We limit 4 to a door because our experience is you don't need more than 4 to a door. So we don't have people who just taking them and going away. We take their name and their phone numbers and so on. That's for follow-up record. So that component of it, I'm asking them to please go. I'm also asking them to heed the hurricane warnings which have been issued. Stock up on water, stock up on food, and be prepared for electricity to go and communication to go. Hopefully the social media will remain operational. So those are the kinds of precautions that we normally will issue to people. And that's what we're asking for again. Be prepared in that regard.
In the absence of proper public information as it relates to this storm slash whatever you may want to describe it, what are some of the guidelines you would want to ensure that people follow?
Well, for one, be prepared for flooding at the doorstep. That is something that's where the sandbags come in. But also be prepared to be isolated for a period of time. And if you feel that you'll be flooded out and it becomes very intense later today or even in tomorrow, relocate to where you would normally go if you are flooded out. Now, some people, of course, have pets. Some people have things like chickens and goats and ducks and what have you. And they don't want to leave their homes. And I can understand why. Remember, a lot of our people are also agricultural based. And we did have last year, for example, a dead cow, I think, in one instance. And we had several animals dead floating down the road because people don't want to abandon it best as they can. That's their livelihood. So we do have that dual challenge, if you wish. But all I can ask is for those who can and don't have those animals to relocate to higher ground. As soon as you figure the waters are rising, go and contact your family now and tell them, I'm coming to your place. So be prepared for me.
In terms of preparedness, in terms of people who would want to seek immediate relief, immediate assistance, is there a number whereby people can call the corporation and get necessary assistance and so on? Is there a number?
Yes, we have 800 PDRC. We ask people to use that. There's another line that slips me now, it's 799 something, but the 800 PDRC is the readily accessible one. So they can call that number. Many people now know where we are, and they come to our place, but those who can't come because they may be in a remote corner, if you wish, of Pinal Debe, they can call our disaster management unit at that number.
All right. Now, we have still about 2 days to prepare for this eventuality, just in case it hits us in a negative way. Would you be opening your offices, let's say, for additional time to give public the access and so on?
It's not unusual. In fact, it's the common practice now that we keep the office open overnight at the disaster management. I myself have spent 1 or 2 nights there over the 8 or 10 floods that we have experienced in Pinal Debe over the past few years. So no, that's very common.
All right. So what advice, as I said, as we end our interview with you, Dr. Sami, what message would you have to the people, more so in those low-lying areas, Pinal Debe area prone to flooding? What message would you have to them? What advice would you give them as of now?
Well, the advice is what I said earlier. I think that people by now have become very seasoned and practiced. They know what the issues are. They know what is causing many of their issues. We have been seeking to address them. If we can't, if it's not our jurisdiction, we ask the various ministries. So they must understand that we have tried all we can over the past year. Given the circumstances now, however, I'm asking them again to access your sandbags, stock up if you plan to stay at home, raise things off the ground. People do it already, routinely now. They will raise their television, if they can lift their fridge, they will lift their fridge and washing machines and what have you. Because a lot of people live in downstairs apartments as well as upstairs. The extended family is common in Pinal Debe.
All right.
You'll have the downstairs set and the upstairs set.
All right.
So we're saying to them, raise whatever you can now. Don't wait for the last minute, because this floods, they will tell you the flood literally rises in an hour, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm asking them to be prepared in the customary way. I don't think there's anybody who doesn't know what to now do, but it's useful to remind them that do it now, don't wait.
All right, Dr. Sami, 2019, finally, in 2019, the jurisdiction, Penal DB, would have been hit by massive flooding. A number of callers to this program would have complained thus far that they have not received any sort of relief, even though it was promised to them for the impact it would have had in 2019. We're into 2020, the 7th month of 2020, and these people are still awaiting these necessary relief. Could you bring us up to speed as to what is happening with that?
Certainly. Two things. People are still awaiting relief from Brett.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's 2017, is it?
Yeah.
This is penal debate. They're not likely to get. And I'll tell you, we have asked the ministry, please provide us with a list of recipients. They have refused.
Mm-hmm.
One fellow had to do it through this access to information, freedom of information.
That's Larry Sami.
Yeah, and
yes.
he was able to access for 1 year. And even so, the way it was compiled, we had to use our own intelligence to match what they were telling us. And then we did phone calls, and we realized there was a staggering number of people who weren't even visited.
Mm-hmm.
They were told that they will be visiting. Now, mind you, we visited them. We did the initial report. We submitted it to social services. Then social services take over, and we have absolutely no input beyond that point. We are not even informed. So if you have secrecy between one agency and another, there must be an agenda for that secrecy, and it's clear. And when I saw the response in Greenvale and how they got all kinds of resources, man, money, and material, we literally within a week or two, and then people here have been waiting 36 months, then clearly there's inequity in this society. So I'm not surprised, and I don't think it's going to change if the same government stays in power.
I must ask you this question before you go, Dr. Sami. Are you saying that because of the jurisdiction itself has always been opposed to the People's National Movement, are you saying that you are being victimized? When I say you, I'm talking about the region.
I'm saying that without fear of contradiction. Our principal representatives are Kamla Prasad Bisesa and Runal Muniral. We also, of course, have the Rapuch West, which will be hopefully Dave Tanko in a few weeks. And the other one is Rodney Charles for a little bit in the Naparima Barkboy area.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we are clearly discriminated against.
All right, Dr. Sami, I want to thank you very much for taking the time off to talk to us this morning. We'll talk again in the near future. Sir, all the best to you, your organization, and hope that when this tropical storm Gonzalo passes over the region, that we, or rather you, can, take the necessary measures to mitigate the negative impact. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us this morning, Dr. Sami. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. Well, that's the voice there of Dr. Alan Sami, who is the chair of the Penal DB Regional Corporation, stating to us this morning that measures are being taken to ensure, or rather to mitigate the level of flooding in the jurisdiction. This as a result of this impending storm, hurricane / bad weather, what you ever may call it. The Met Office have not indicated such as yet. It is expected to hit us on Saturday. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Morning again, Kenrick.
Good morning. Well, I spoke to one of your favorite persons this morning. Yes.
Yes, and I listened to the interview very attentively.
Mm-hmm.
I want to correct Dr. Sami on one thing. The last time we had flood in the Penal David area, we were not informed of any shelter.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we had known about named shelters, I've been one of the first responders in my community, I would have acted to carry people with my vehicle to an area that was designated.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he's saying that people go to their immediate family and stuff, that's all well, fine and good. But if you have identified to us in our community where are the nearest shelter that people can go, would have been a great help in 2019. Now, I think at this particular time, maybe on their social media network that they have, they should start identifying where the shelters are, so that we, as first responders, who are in the South River in Action Flood Group, can assist people when the time is right.
But Dr. Sami did mention the shelters
Yes.
this morning, Larry. Yeah.
And he have to keep doing that regularly, even on updates on social media. I think that maybe the Penal Daybreak Regional Corporation should start putting that out every hour on the hour, because at the end of the day, Kendrick, he told you that now that we can predict a flood within an hour time of knowing that rain is going to fall, right? Which I like a couple of Tuesdays ago when I called Nicole and told her. We have got so accustomed now that when rain starts to fall, we know what time the flood is going to hit us. That's the reason why I am making this call out again to everybody, because we do not understand why it is the government is failing to, one, compensate people or give a package that from Brent even to 2019. I got the payment in 2018 for people. And he's right. When I carried the list back to him, they had to sit down with that list for 2 weeks to go through it randomly to see who were getting payment from who was not getting payment. And mind you, the people from the Disaster Management Head Office in Port of Spain, they came down into Penal Davy and did their research, gathering information. And when we got the information from social welfare for the check payment, they had us to correspond back. And many people did not get compensation or a package on that.
All right, just on another note, Larry, just let me inform you and the listening audience again that Dr. Sammy did indicate that the offices will be open for extended hours to help with people, to give them necessary information. Sandbags are available, and they are doing all within their resources to mitigate this level of flooding when it do hit the area.
Well, that is all well and good, Kendrick, but one of the things that I think we should be making a call out to now is that when he says stock up on food and water and things, I think the NGOs maybe heard that this morning and be on the standby that in case people really got marooned for a couple of days, well, maybe some stuff can be dropped off at the corporation in case they have to deliver stuff to people to help them, assist them for 4 or 5 days when flood occurs. Because remember the last time we had flood with 2018 and 2019, we were marooned for 5 days complete.
All right, let's leave it there for the time being, Larry. We need to go up to some commercials at this time, just about at 7:30 here in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. But I have some callers coming through. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Good morning, Ken. I just tuned in. I hear you, Dr. Sammy, was it you?
Yes, we're talking to Dr. We spoke to Dr. Sammy this morning, yeah.
Where is about sluice gates?
Oh, that would have escaped me, but I understand that some of these sluice gates, especially in the St. John area, need to be refurbished. That assurance was given by Works and Transport Minister Rohan Sinanan some time back.
Yeah, all them woodland about them sluice gates, they've been working for the longest while. And next thing, you see, I know, okay, the shelters are like schools and community centers, right? Where the school is. What I want to hear is that there is a team of people, volunteers and people from the ODPM or whatever, police service, the regiment, whoever, that in the event of an emergency situation, that children from schools, kindergarten schools, would be evacuated and taken to shelters, and the parents will know if your child is in this kindergarten school and there is an emergency, your child will be taken to such and such a shelter. There'd be food and there'd be clothing and there'd be people there to look after them. But when you get there, not the people who have the shelter don't know the children.
No, and my apologies. I failed to ask him this morning whether he has any information, contact numbers of people who are vulnerable, people who are physically challenged, to remove them from low-lying areas in case of any eventuality.
Not just the numbers, but if you have a team that can relocate these people where they are in even an emergency, this is important. And I tried to get that done with the ODPM when I was the Black Welfare Vice President of there. And ODPM said, finally, after several calls, the Regional Corporation handling that. I called the PRD Regional Corporation, was in the PRI time. Oh, yeah, we could do that, you know. I said, Papa, if I may, I'll work with you all. Yeah, we could do that, you know. That didn't happen up to now, you know.
All right,
so in the event something happened, these people are vulnerable. They stay right there. Thank you much, Kenny.
All right, thank you very much. No, I am saying that all these regional corporations, there should be a database of people who are vulnerable, people who are physically challenged in case of any eventualities. You give this grouping of people what you call preferential treatment. That is to get to them as quickly as possible. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Well, Kendrick, I can answer Chris' question.
Yeah.
Edward Moody, myself, and the team has a database of people who have been normally getting flooding out with, who are disabled, who have, like, old people who are sick and need medication. We have a database that with contact numbers and stuff. So that was, as being part of the first responder in my community, we know who to attack, when to attack, and how to get them to safe ground. So that answers this question. I do not know if the councillor has done his work together with the corporation, but being part of the South Riverine Action Flood Group, we have that database, Kevin.
Well, it's all about being proactive as opposed to being reactive in our life.
Well, Kenrick, when you look at what is taking place in our country right now, I don't think people really much paying attention to COVID and to flooding and storm and stuff. Everybody's on election. But we as normal people who are willing to help and put our lives at risk to save other people, being patriotic then, to be a brother's keeper. Kenrick, we will do whatever we have to do to ensure that people are safe and to make sure people are comfortable. Even myself as well, even though I get flooding, we try to help in the best way we can.
All right,
Larry, have a good morning.
Thank you very much. Well, let's take some commercial this morning, and when we come back, we'll continue with our discussion right here at 975. Stay with us.
Visit Eddie's Pharmacies Limited newest location inside JTA Supermarket, C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando. They offer blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, and pregnancy testing, as well as all pharmaceutical products and over-the-counter drugs, along with CDAP prescriptions. Sagicor Caricare International Medical Card, Guardian Life Provider Card, and Republic Bank points are all accepted at their 3 locations of Eddie's Pharmacy Limited. RS Building, Rocha Douglas Road, Barrackpore, GN Building in Pinal, and C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando.
The newest medical health facility in Central is opening. MediPlus Clinic and Imaging Center Limited of 103 Main Road, Balmain, Couva is having its grand opening on Friday, 24th July from 9 a.m. The first 50 patients can call 236-4624 or 235-4264 to book your free appointment for blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, urine tests, and vision screening. For more information on MediPlus, specialists, medical services, medical lab, and medical imaging, and coming soon X-ray dentistry, visit MediPlus at 103 Main Road, Balmain, Couva, or call 236-4624 or 235-4264, or email mediplus at ramlagansholdings.com. Listen to U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio on Friday for a live broadcast from 9 a.m. Visit MediPlus for all your medical care and services.
This is Samaru Ramru inviting you on a journey down memory lane with enchanting songs on the program Nightline. Mondays to Thursdays, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Let your heart sing along with the music on U975 FM, Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio.
So guys, the party continues this Saturday. Yes, this Saturday, the Hot Like Pepper Reloaded continues from 8 to 12 noon. Sharon Baru alongside DJ Vishal, 12 noon to 3 p.m. The captain takes full flight. Yes, Captain Kendall Juggernaut from 12 noon to 3 p.m. From 3 to 7 p.m. DJ Anil is in with the Hot Like Pepper mix. And from 7 to 1 a.m. the man Corky D is in the building and will mix it up for you into the morning. Tune in, log on 975radio.com for the Hot Like Pepper Saturdays Reloaded.
Let's talk Guyana. Join us as we share news and issues coming out of Guyana, Mondays to Fridays at 11 a.m. right here on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio.
The following is a paid political announcement.
For all the years I live in this country, the only time I see real progress was under the UNC. Places that had no water and roads, yet nobody lost their jobs and they managed this country like a real boss. The happiest times was under UNC. The last 5 years under PNM was the worst I ever see in all my life. Lord, I hope they may come back. That will be real trouble for we. Real trouble. What will happen to the people, to the children, and to this country if PNM come back, Lord? I want back my life. I want back my future. On August 10th, I am voting UNC.
On August 10th, all you come out and vote UNC. Come out, vote UNC.
That was a paid political announcement.
Yes, indeed, and welcome back to 975. We have some callers on the line. Hello, good morning, and thanks for choosing us. Good morning.
Yeah, Ken.
Yeah, good morning, Chris.
Let me congratulate Larry on what they have done at the database. I'm sure then that he has a command center, and he would have some people volunteers. What I think he should do now is to advertise his location with command center, so in the event of an emergency, other persons who wish to volunteer to assist could respond there. And that could be his command center to get things done from there. Because having database is one thing, but responding is the more important thing. Thank you much.
Okay, well, thank you very much. No, the onus is on residents too, because you have all of these measures being taken place by the corporation, and some of these residents are ignorant or are not aware of where they should go to get the necessary help. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Morning. Kenrick,
Good morning, sir.
I must say thanks to the UNC that they start advertising a program. You know, I have the one who has been always.
No, hold on. That's because you took a little, let's say, a hit at them yesterday, yes?
No, but Ken, if your station is my favorite station to listen to, without advertisements, you cannot function, agreed?
Well, the advertising is the lifeline of any media house.
Right. And you can't be advertising on other people's station and your station, which is based in Central. You think, but beside the point. I listen to Dr. Sammy. I hope Kamala remove him.
Why would you say so?
Kenrick, all he said in the interview is what people ought to do.
Lack of,
say no,
yeah,
right?
and lack of resources.
Listen, he doesn't have a single contingency plan in place. You know, listen, I'm not in a corporation, but let me tell you what I would do. Just if you're listening, you need to place equipment at various locations immediately, maybe in certain savannas, places around, right?
Yeah, but but hold on, let me stop you. But he talk about equipment, and there are only so much equipment available.
Kenrick, even if it's 2 pieces of equipment, move it out of the corporation offices.
Okay.
Put it where you know it could be used. In other words, within 5 minutes, you can mobilize it. Good? And you have your workers assigned so that they know they're going directly to the equipment. They don't have to go to the corporation, pick it up and drive down, right? You will, in order to remove people if they're in a flooded area, you can't use a car, you have to use a truck or a tractor, agreed?
And what about emergency crews and so and whatnot?
Right.
They should be on standby, yes?
You have those things set in place, and you could call them and say, okay, this crew, you need to go there, and you know who's going to assign where. You talk to certain contractors around in the area and have the trucks available in certain spots. If people flooded out, they load them up in a truck and take them. This man is talking about people about the duck and pen, and why they should remove them people. They have no contingency plan. Waste the time. Take care.
All right, my friend. No, it's about being proactive. Hence the reason why I asked whether he would have met or there's any sort of discussions ongoing with various agencies.
Yeah, but Dr. Sammy has been speaking about lack of resources for some time now. It's not today, you know. So maybe the authorities should have taken heed and not wait until he has to say it again in a time like this.
Well, he claimed that the corporation is being victimized by central government because it is viewed as opposition territory. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Morning, Kenrick. Morning to your co-host.
Good morning.
We engage in England tomorrow in that last test.
Well, you know, it is busy. But Ken, everybody, when things like this are approaching, everybody had to be in the P's and Q's. And everybody had to put their head together. Now, I made an observation here I live. It has some jack donkeys, had these 4x4 vehicles and trucks just drive through the area. And I don't know who tell them they believe they drive hard, they won't shut them. But you know, there's created a thing called a wave that's going to flood out people's place.
Yes.
I had to take my truck and park in the middle of the road to prevent that, and someone else vexed me as well. If all you don't like it, move the truck. Because every time all is speeding up here, all is creating a wave and it going inside people's homes, all kind of thing. I say, man, but the thing is, and I'll say last time I tell you, we didn't see the authorities to take law and effect and discipline these people. Here it is, we know it coming Saturday. what it is the police, what is the army, where them going to be? He asked me to evacuate. I know where the evacuation place is now. But what security is on my house when I evacuate? And this area I live in, I'm not evacuating. If I alone I stay in my house, I will stay in my house. But I live in a place, as you move, everything gone here. Right? So this is what I'm saying. Let people, the drivers of those 4x4 and those trucks, understand that it is be flooding people's place with a wave that is be wrong.
Yes.
So stop it.
All right, well, hold on. Stop right there. Let's move on. Let me provoke you this morning. You would have been one of those persons who would have, let's say, agreed with opposition leader Kamla Prasad-Bisesa to let our nationals come home, open the borders. Now that we have two possible, and I said possible, community cases, which these cases are still being investigated. What are your thoughts now?
Well, I just say, and a lot of people agree. Now, the government have a moral responsibility to assist these foreigners living out here. I mean, I don't know who living in Canada. I don't want people who are like the students who went on a little holiday, the footballers who in India. I think if you can't bring them home, at least assist them and try and make sure they're in a good place. Now, you were driving the point from day one. This thing too serious to play with. And we talking about giving Roshan Mahavir an award. I think you should get an award too because you always talk about the curve. I hear the curve exposed now because people getting it back again.
Well, when I told you that some 2 or 3 weeks ago, that this is just the first installment, and we're just experiencing the second curve in the first installment. You know, there's another one coming. You know, when you follow the World Health Organization guidelines.
Well, they have to follow the World Health Authority on this. Not no minister.
But do you think it was quite reckless on Kamla Prasad-Bisesa to call on the government of the day to open the borders, let our nationals come home like Moses come home?
Well, she can't think she blows for that.
Yeah?
But what I'm saying, the government have a moral right to protect the citizens and safeguard them. You don't want them come home? Get a place and put them there and they understand. And when now, it's 4 months people over it, Kenrick.
Yeah, I understand all that. I understand all
4
that.
months people going mad here.
But you see, some people have a tendency to make this out to be a political issue. We should not politicize this. I've been saying this for the longest while.
Look, since yesterday, the place gone haywire when about 3 people get it.
Good. And hence, that's my point. That's my point.
3 people get it in 1 day.
That's why I maintain that the borders should remain locked down.
Yeah.
Borders should remain closed. If people have to come home, they will come home in phases and in batches. So long as
sign the paper too.
Right, and so long as the health system can accommodate them, you cannot overwhelm the health system, and that's the point I've been making for the longest while.
But before I want to provoke the judge, somebody say they bring it cricketers all the way and put them Hilton. Why you put them in the football house for? No, some people have been illiterate.
No, they want some
but
good.
The home of football is actually very nice. I saw photos of the inside of the home of football, and it's not bad at all.
It's Trinidad. They want to go to the Hilton.
Anyway,
laughable.
I think that the Prime Minister is very exhausted in trying to explain why these cricketers are being housed at Hilton, Trinidad. It's about economy. It's about money. We're going past that. Yeah, according to me, we're going past that.
I think that should cancel.
What?
The cricket.
Personally,
I think that should cancel. That's my personal view. I'm not in charge.
All right.
I'm not in charge. But I think people come from all over the world to take part in this.
No, but hold on. Okay, you may have your view, but my view is this. I think we're in a very unique situation, Nicole.
Yes.
Where we can describe ourselves as a country that would have taken all the necessary precaution to ensure that there's no community spread.
That's right.
And we don't have a situation where it's overwhelming. Having said that, if we have decided to host the Caribbean Premier League, and there are certain guidelines based on what would have transpired before. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
No matter how much resources you may have at your disposal, in the event of emergency, there could always be need for more.
Yes.
Saying that you don't have enough resources is saying why I couldn't get a job done.
It's a cop-out. Yeah?
But proper management of resources is saying this is how I'm going to use my available resources to make it sure the job is done.
You know, when you work in the private sector, you cannot say you do not have the resources, you know. You have to get the job done. Eh?
Exactly.
You know that,
and
yes?
if you know what you don't have, you have contingency plans in place. You talk to your contractors, you talk to your business owners. Everyone in the community want to make sure the community is safe after a disaster.
What about funding? And that was another issue that he would always clamor about,
Mhm.
you know, lack
But
of
okay,
funding.
let me show you something. I have been a teacher many years of my life. Schools never get no funds from nobody. But when you have sports, it's starting pistol, it's race everything. Where you get funding from? We raise funds. And if you have a community where you have people there and you say, listen, we know we could have a situation, so let's raise some funds and have a good committee. You'll be surprised how much money it could be. You can't just sit down and say, government has to give me this, government has to give me that. Government will never give you enough. Thank you.
Okay, Crystal, thank you very much for your contribution here with me this morning. It's about 12 minutes here to the hour of 8 o'clock. Note that after the 8 o'clock hour, we'll be touching with Anil Jutaram, who is the chair of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation. We're going to discuss with him these the same matter which we would have discussed with Dr. Alan Asami this morning. Preparedness, being proactive for any eventuality because of Gonzalo. We're going to chat with him just after the 8 o'clock hour. But as of now, I need to take a very short commercial break. And when we come back, we'll continue. Stay with us here, 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper.
Jyoti's Puja Store is your one-stop puja store for all puja, wedding and cremation materials. Also available books, mithai and murtis made to order. Visit Jyoti's Puja Store today and be greeted with the kindest and most courteous staff with best prices and secured parking. Jyoti's Puja Store located at 542 Southern Main Road, Chase Village, Shigwanas. Contact 671-3849.
The newest medical health facility in Central is opening. MediPlus Clinic and Imaging Center Limited of 103 Main Road, Balmain, Couva is having its grand opening on Friday, 24th July from 9 a.m. The first 50 patients can call 236-4624 or 235-4264 to book your free appointment for blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, urine tests, and vision screening. For more information on MediPlus, specialists, medical services, medical lab, and medical imaging, and coming soon X-ray dentistry, visit MediPlus at 103 Main Road, Balmain, Couva, or call 236-4624 or 235-4264, or email mediplus@ramlagansholdings.com. Listen to U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio on Friday for a live broadcast from 9 a.m. Visit MediPlus for all your medical care and services.
Hello, I am Rajendra Ramprasad, your PNM candidate for Couva South. I ask for your support to take Couva South into government and to improve the quality of life for all of us. I have specific plans to create jobs, to improve agriculture, to revive Point Lisas, and to develop our infrastructure, also to enhance security. As a person born in Dow Village, California, and started my education at Esperanza Presbyterian School, I want to use my years as a successful businessman and a resident of Couva South to partner with you to make our communities better. I ask for your vote on August the 10th. Vote Rajendra Ramprasad, the right choice for a better Couva South. Vote PNL.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Hello, Trinidad and Tobago. I am a student and I have a message for you. The last 5 years have left me wondering what sort of future is ahead. I didn't receive a laptop when I entered high school in 2015. During the pandemic, I was unable to attend my virtual classes. I am now focused on attending university, but my parents can't afford to send me there. And under this PNM, GATE is no more. There were so many tertiary education opportunities under the UNC. Now everything is shutting down. What will happen to our young lives? On August 10th, I want to urge all young voters, vote for our future. Vote UNC. UNC.
That was a paid political announcement.
Let's talk Guyana. Join us as we share news and issues coming out of Guyana, Mondays to Fridays at 11 a.m. right here on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio.
Yes, indeed, and welcome back to 97.5 FM Hot Like Pepper. We have a caller here on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. This is Edward Moody here, the South Orput River in Production Group.
Hi, good morning, Edward. How are you this morning?
I'm fine.
All right, we're talking about flooding here. And the Penal Debe Regional Corporation, I would have spoken to the chairman this morning, Dr. Alan Sami. You had an organization that is looking keenly as to what measures have been put in place to mitigate flooding in the jurisdiction. I'm talking about Penal Debe area. Now, you had a group. What are you calling for? What are you hoping for, given the fact that we have that Gonzalo will be hitting the island on Saturday, and no doubt the residents of that jurisdiction would be expecting a level of flooding. Share your thoughts with me.
All right. Well, let me give you an idea what we have done in the last year. Of course, the research work, it comes from about 15 years ago, coming straight up to the present time. I basically finished my report for the group on what are the causes of flooding, mitigation, and actually how we could stop flooding in the South Orput River Basin. Now, it does not only include Penal Debe. We go as far as Upper Barako up in the numbers, way down to Faizabad, because that entire area is part of the South Orput Basin. Now, the truth is that it is going to cost a lot of money to really stop the flooding, because we have to spend money on all those floodgates that are non-functional right now. We have to look at how do we get this water into the Gulf of Paria. The truth is that over the years, we have backfilled a lot of the lands in the area in order to build our homes on. And because the state has basically failed to provide enough housing, so we have developed our own land here. We have built our lands. Yes, they are unapproved development, but most of the lands have been approved. What we are looking at this year is our group will be going out in the different areas, looking specifically at where the water is coming from, where it is going. Of course, we already have good ideas, but we want to make sure, we want to verify. With respect to people who are stranded, we will be working with the corporation, we will be working with the police to try and get people out. Last year, we had a really sad case where a woman and her 3 children were stranded at the back of Suraj Street. And thank God for that dinghy that the corporation had, because when I sent in 10-wheeler trucks to go and extract the woman and her kids, the trucks could not go in because people had parked their vehicle on the only high part of the road.
All right. Edward, share with me this morning a database. According to Larry Sami, he said that your group, you have a database, especially for those people who are maybe challenged in getting out of their homes in case of any eventuality.
All right. Now, that database is not complete as yet, and we're working with the corporation on that. But we have a good idea now, based on the community meetings we have had in different areas. We have an idea where some people are on wheelchair, where some of them are sick. So those are the people we will be working with the corporation and the other authorities to actually go and find out what's going on with them. And if we have to extract them, we will be helping in whatever way to do that as well. Because what we have started setting up is flood chat. Like in Woodland, we have a flood chat. All the communities we have been having meetings in, we are setting up flood chats where all the members of the community, hopefully, would be on that chat. So if there's any emergency, everybody will be able to know at the same time. So it's something we're encouraging in all the areas that we could actually go forward and do this.
All right. This morning, Dr. Alan Sami spoke about lack of resources, especially in terms of machinery, manpower, and what have you, to bring much needed relief to people who would be affected by any eventuality. You want to share your thoughts with me on that? Lack of resources?
Well, let me tell you what happened, what the corporation did that much people don't know. The corporation actually took a large part of the budget that was supposed to be for box train and other expenditure, and they actually rented their own equipment and went into rivers controlled by the Ministry of Works and Transport, Drainage Division, and they cleared so many rivers in South Trinidad. The corporation went in and did that, spending their own money. Now, that was not their responsibility. Now, we always like to cast blame and say the corporation are doing that, the corporation are doing this. The truth is that we know the drains that they are supposed to clean. We have been liaising with all the councillors in the PDRC and the chairman of the Superior Corporation as well, with respect to whenever we identify cases, even up to drains, that need clearing. And they go in, they look at it, and we have been having a very good relationship. What they did recently by hiring their own equipment, I want to applaud them for that, because that is the responsibility of Drainage Division, not them, and they went in and did it.
All right. When last we spoke, Moody, you would have had, or you would have said that you would have engaged the Minister of Works and Transport in discussion, and you would have outlined the woes and the challenges facing people more so in the St. John's area as it relates to those sluice gates. Have you had any positive response coming from him thus far?
Absolutely nothing. He keeps telling me that he is passing it on to the director. But what happened in the last 4 months or so, when all these private contractors and some of the businessmen were blocking water courses, we exposed them, and Drainage came in. They never even called us. They never even invited the different arms that are associated with the same flooding. They came down, the director. We had the PermSec came down. We had a lot of people from the ministry coming down. We do not know what happened since, but we know that they came down because we went to the media. Look at the situation in Clock Road right now. We actually have tidal influence salt water hitting the lagoon. Before it was the rivers, the salt water would come straight up the rivers. Now the tide is actually influencing the water in the lagoon. We have pictures to show that all the cows died recently. We have pictures to show that in high tide, the lagoons are now flooded out with salt water, and in low tide it goes down. What has been causing this? The floodgate has been failing in St. John's. They gave out a contract, nothing has happened, and the people are getting ready for the onslaught in this rainy season again.
All right, Muri, we will have to leave it there for a while, but I want to engage you sometime next week where we'll continue this level of discussion. Thank you very much, my friend.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, thank you very much. Edward Moody there. We up to the 8 o'clock newscast. Let's go up to the 8 o'clock newscast with Uma Ratan Singh, and when we come back, we'll continue with our discussion right here, 975.
Please hang up.
Time has come. New 97.5. Make it your choice. Something for everyone. 975 FM. Music for you. It's all about you.
U97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
Power to the listeners.
It is now time for Major News to the Hour, brought to you by Crystal Beverages Company, Super Quality Supermarket, Sheikh Elisha Limited, and the Trinidad and Tobago News Day.
This is the 8 a.m. news on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. I am Uma Ratan Singh. Good morning. Nationals returning to this country are refusing to sign quarantine forms. This in according to Minister of Health Terence Dialsingh, as he made the disclosure yesterday at a media briefing. Minister Dialsingh explained that before being allowed to come home, citizens agreed to sign the forms. However, he said upon arrival, they are refusing to abide by the rules. As a result, the minister said returning nationals will now be asked to sign the quarantine forms before they return to the country.
A dangerous precedent. The chief medical officer will explain to you the importance of that quarantine form. And they are now refusing to sign the quarantine form once they land in Trinidad and Tobago.
Minister Dialsingh said the returning nationals are also refusing to be taken to quarantine sites.
When we allocate them to sites, they are now refusing to go to the allocated sites, and they are demanding to go to sites of their own choice. That is not a condition on bringing you back.
A 46-year-old bitter man has been committed to stand trial at the next sitting of the Port of Spain's High Court for the death of Colonel Ronaldo Joseph. According to reports, Sherwin Shepherd appeared before Port of Spain Chief Magistrate on July 17th during the preliminary inquiry related to the death of Kern Ronaldo Joseph. The accused Shepherd was initially arrested on July 6th, 2018 and charged with the murder on July 10, 2018. According to initial reports, 31-year-old Ronaldo Joseph, a mechanic, was shot during a drive-by shooting while standing along Eastern Main Road, Laventille, on the morning of June 6, 2018. Concordia residents remain in shock after murder. The TTPS are investigating 2 murders in Tobago following a shooting incident at Concordia on Tuesday night. The victims have been identified as 35-year-old Kenny Wolf of Glamorgan and 23-year-old James Ferguson of Bacolet Point. According to police reports, the incident occurred Tuesday night at St. Cecilia Road, Concordia, when residents claimed they heard several loud explosions and on checking found a crashed car in the middle of the road. Wolf, the driver of the crashed car, was in the company of Ferguson, Nicholas Cowan, and Bronson Nichols when they were ambushed by gunmen, forcing him to stop. Armed with semi-automatic weapons, the men from the white car got out and fired at Wolf's vehicle. However, the 4 men attempted to escape under fire, but Wolf was shot in the back and died on the spot. Cowan was not injured, while Nichols was taken to hospital for minor injuries, and Ferguson's riddled body with gunshot wounds was found 78 feet down a bushy incline. 36 spent shells were recovered at the scene. Residents of Concordia claims to remain in shock over the incident. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Professional Standards Bureau are keeping watch on more than 24 local police officers for an intrinsic human trafficking ring operating between Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago. The investigations continue even as police are probing the recent illegal entry of scores of Venezuelans into the country. Reports reveal that surveillance drones and a newly formed police coastal unit will come on stream over the next month to crack down on human trafficking and smuggling in southwestern Trinidad. The trafficking network, which is supported and operated by corrupt local law enforcement officers, has been exposed in a 2019 CARICOM study on human trafficking conducted by Dr. Justin Pierre. Reliable sources say the state-of-the-art drones will patrol a 10-mile expanse of porous coastline along the peninsula where Venezuelan migrants, livestock, honey, guns and drugs are brought in. Every vessel coming into territorial waters will be monitored and it will work in tandem with increased activity by TNT Coast Guard. Missing persons continue in TNT in 2 separate incidents, as 29-year-old Chanel Charles of Balhise Avenue, Couva is reported missing. Chanel was last seen on July 13th and reported missing on July 20th. She is described as of African descent, 5 feet 5 inches tall, with a medium-built, brown complexion, black braided hairstyle, with piercings in both ears and nose. It is unknown as to what she was last wearing. Anyone with information on her whereabouts are asked to contact the Couva Police Station. And in a separate case, a 50-year-old Mova man is missing. The police are seeking the public assistance in finding 50-year-old Michael Tate of Petunia Avenue, Coconut Drive, Mova. Tate was last seen on July 20th by his wife and was reported missing the following day to the Mova police station. Michael is of African descent, dark in complexion, 5 feet 5 inches tall, has tattoos on the upper and lower parts of both arms, has a piece of flesh missing from his left ear, is partly bald and has a scar on his left hand. He was last seen wearing a blue and white striped jersey and a 3/4 pants and a black Nike sneaker. Anyone with information can contact the nearest police station. Regionally in Guyana, the COVID-19 Task Force of Region 9 is very concerned with residents' attitude to the coronavirus disease pandemic. According to Guyana reports, foreigners are being smuggled into the Marudi mining area, and families in multiple indigenous communities are encouraging their relatives to return from Brazil illegally, thus increasing the risk of widespread COVID-19 infections with the Rupununi region. In light of these reports, the Regional Executive Officer, Carl Parker, says a number of drastic measures will be drafted and sent to the National COVID-19 Task Force for approval, considering that many persons are refusing to adhere to the guidelines that were established by the Ministry of Public Health to contain the spread of the virus. And for some international news in the U.S., President Donald Trump is to send a surge of federal security forces to U.S. cities in a crackdown on crime. Chicago and 2 other Democratic-run cities are being targeted in the Republican president's move amid a spike in violence. But federal deployments in Portland, Oregon have proved controversial. Local officials say they have raised tensions amid ongoing protests. Law and order has become a key plank of President Trump's re-election bid in November. Since the death of George Floyd on May 25th, there have been protests, sometimes descending into civil disorder in scores of U.S. cities. Meanwhile, gun violence has spiked in metropolitan areas, including New York City, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Chicago, and Milwaukee. And on to the weather forecast for today. Long sunny periods will be interrupted by occasional showers, mainly over Trinidad and the Leeward Islands. There is the 60% chance of the heavy showers or thunderstorm over some areas of Trinidad during the late morning to mid-afternoon period. Street flooding and gusty winds are possible in heavy showers and thunderstorms. Temperature is presently 28 degrees and expected to reach a high of 33 degrees Celsius. High tides at 6:33 p.m., low tides at 12:03 p.m., sunset at 6:30 p.m. And that's the end of the news to 8 a.m. Join us at 10 a.m. for news update. I am Ratan Singh, wishing you a safe and good morning.
That was Major News to the Hour, brought to you by Crystal Beverages Company, Super Quality Supermarket, Sheikh Lisha Limited, and the Trinidad and Tobago News Day.
Kathy's School Spot Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, opposite the TSTT Exchange in Mayaro. We specialize in all types of meats, dry goods, liquor, beverages, ice, LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liquor, wholesale, and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy's School Spot Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you.
You 97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio will be bringing you coverage of Election Day 2020. Look out for live capsule reports throughout the day as you make your way to the polls. Then you can join our live panel discussion from 8 p.m. as we bring to you the election results. Exclusive on U97.5 FM.
The following is a paid political announcement.
This ad brought to you by the PNM.
Sign my name with a golden pen, a golden pen. Sign my name, yeah. Anyway, we vote in PNM. Sign my name, it's a PNM pen, a PNM pen, a PNM pen. I want you
On August 10th, vote PNM. Great is the PNM.
That was a paid political announcement.
Join us on the journey to the polls. Find out about the candidates, the campaigns, the promises, and much more. You can now listen to your daily dose of politics, Mondays to Fridays at 1 p.m. right here on U97.5, Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio.
It is back. Talk Your Talk is back. This is Mukesh Baburam inviting you to join me right here on U97.5 FM for the return of Talk Your Talk from 6 to 9 p.m. Enjoy your favorite segments and feel free to make your comments as we journey together. So join me, Mukesh Baburam, for Talk Your Talk.
U97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio will be bringing you coverage of Election Day 2020. Look out for live capsule reports throughout the day as you make your way to the polls. Then you can join our live panel discussion from 8 p.m. as we bring to you the election results. Exclusive on U97.5 FM.
Yes, indeed, and welcome back to 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. 15 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock, and that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of Mr. Rajendra Rampasad, who is the People's National Movement candidate for the constituency of Kufa North. Well, with me on the line now is Mr. Anil Jutaram, who is chairman of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation. This morning, earlier, we would have spoken to Dr. Alan Sami, who is also the chair of the Pinal Debe Regional Corporation. We just want to get Mr. Jutaram's thoughts on plans he is planning to implement, given that Gonzalo is expected to hit us sometime on Saturday. Let's take him live on air. Good morning, Mr. Jutaram, and thanks for taking our calls.
Hi, good morning to you and your listenership and the rest of Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, no doubt you and your organization will be monitoring the system developing to the east of Trinidad. And you represent a constituency as chair of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, which in some areas are prone to flooding. Can you walk us through some of the plans you have in place to mitigate or to bring some sort of relief to residents who may be affected by the system?
Sure. Well, actually, we have been pursuing all water courses, like cleaning, widening the certain water courses before any hurricane season came upon us. Mm-hmm. And that is a work in progress with whatever limited resources we have available at this point in time. We have made several recommendations for major water courses and tributaries to be looked after, especially in flood-prone and low-lying areas. Yesterday, we had a heads of department meeting at the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, consisting of the engineering department, technical, transport department, public health, and all is on high alert. All vehicles are already gassed up and so on, should in case an emergency should take place in the wee hours of the morning or night. We are already unable. We have currently allocated like 2,000 sandbags, and we have strategically placed sand in certain parts of our electoral areas. So it would not be a problem for Burgesses to come down all the way to Ture or the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation stockpiles to get any sandbags. We have decentralized that system. So they would just have to fill the bags themselves in the allocated area. Also, our safe houses in terms of shelters, what we normally call shelters in times of disaster. We have already put our key people on high alert with the keys to, should in case there is need for evacuation and people to be sheltered, that would not be a deterrent and they would be accommodated. Also, we have stocked up a little more, and we are in the process of also acquiring a little more mattresses and tarpaulins. But at the moment, we have quite a sufficient amount.
All right. Mr. Jutaram, what are some of the challenges your corporation could face or is expected to face in trying to mitigate this and bring relief to people who, as I said, could be affected by the system? What are some of the challenges?
But based on the experience in 2018, on the 18th of October 2018, some of our drivers were innocently blocked in their home and they were marooned. So as a result of that, there was a shortage of drivers and so on. So what is really required is the state agencies could kick in areas such as Sangre Grande, such as let's say the army, fire, and even prisons to help us with those high trucks and so on, so that where people may be marooned and so on, and normal vehicles cannot go into those areas, we would be able to go into those areas to bring relief and some form of supply to the people that are marooned and so on, and even transporting people to and from, because people might be caught in Sangre Grande, for example, on the, let's say the roundabout, and they would need to go to Manzalina, to Fishing Pond, to other parts of the region, and we would need to transport these people.
All right. What are some of the where are some of these shelters located, Mr. Jutaram?
In Brooklyn Land Settlement, in Valencia, and we have in Sangre Grande, northeast, northwest, Toco, and those are the flood-prone areas. But mind you, our region that we have jurisdiction over is almost 4 times the size of Tobago, because we service the constituency of Komoto, Manzalina, and Toco, Sangre Grande.
All right, as we move on with our conversation, in terms of people wanting to reach out to the corporation to get much immediate assistance, are there numbers, are there any let's say, personnel that they can contact? Can you share that with me this morning?
Sure, 668-3969, that's the chairman's office.
Yeah.
You can call my personal number. I have one number, 685-8476. And feel free to call at any point in time.
So, what assurances can you give to the people of your jurisdiction that the regional corporation, well, they are quite prepared to handle any eventuality as we look at Gonzalo? Any sort of assurance? Do you need additional support? Have you had any sort of discussion with the ODPM and so on? Share that with us this morning.
Yeah, what happened actually? We had high winds and heavy rainfall last night, right? Very, very heavy rainfall and wind. We have, in the corporation, we have employed actual additional power source teams, should in case trees like fall in the roadway and so on, we would be able to deal with that expeditiously. And we together with the fire service in Sangre Grande, we have a good working relationship. Also, the disaster management unit, we have asked for specific, dialogue with them. From the past, it was not a very healthy relationship, but the disaster management unit, based in not our corporation, but head office, has given us the assurance that this time around, the services that are rendered will be facilitated to us, because we were more or less forsaken in 2018. Everything was in Greenville, and Sangre Grande was really left to fend for themselves.
All right, let me pose a political question to you, Mr. Jutaram. Is it safe to say to you this morning, or ask you whether or not you are of the view that central government would have starved or continue to starve the regional corporation, Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, of much needed resources?
But that is a fact. That is an understatement to say anything. It's a fact. Since we came in office in 2016 as a councillor, then during the 4-4, we have been starved severely for resources and releases, that's funding to buy materials and so on. If you look at the stockpile in Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, they have really, really tried to give the impression that the corporation is not doing anything, especially the UNC tied corporation at that time, because we were 4-4, right? And then the PNM, I mean, I'm not here to talk politics, but I'm talking the truth and the facts. The PNM was able to get supplies and assistance from different state agencies such as PURE, such as LHA, such as the Ministry of Youth, and such as CTEP and all of these people. And the UNC councillors never was afforded that sort of privilege. We had to depend on whenever we get releases in the corporation to do things like 10 days and so on for people to create employment. And the URC, every single thing was geared towards the PNM projects in the areas and creating employment for PNM supporters to work with the candidates to give the impression that they have supporters. And that backfired on them, as you would have seen the results of 2019 local government election. So people are very smart. They are taking the money from the state, but they know what they have to do, because we cannot run a country based on paying somebody $200 or $300 to parade with our red jersey. And at the end of the day, the hungry have no sustenance for the way forward. And our concept, our vision in the corporation and Trinidad and Tobago is that what is good for one is good for all, and the butter must be spread across the dough for the bread evenly.
All right. Mr. Jutaram, finally, now this system is projected to hit the northeast of Trinidad hard on a Saturday. While you may not want to panic the public, what sort of advice do you have for them?
I'll tell everybody, all the members of our region and the country, to stock up on your vital supplies. Make sure you have your torchlights with batteries working. Whatever little canned stuff you have, water, make sure you have adequate drinking supplies. And try your best to keep in a safe environment where, the roof and everything is very stable. Or if it's not stable, try to go by some of your neighbor or friends or family where you would interpret that you would be in a safer environment.
All right, Mr. Jutaram, I want to thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us this morning on our morning program. All the best to you, yours, and let's hope that everything works out on a timely basis as you take up this challenge ahead of this impending storm/hurricane, whatever you want to describe it. The Met Office has not issued any information to us as yet, but I want to wish you all the best, and thanks for taking our call this morning.
Thank you very much.
Okay. That's the voice there of Anil Jutaram, who is the chair of the Sangregan Regional Corporation, sharing some thoughts with us this morning. Yes, the Met Office is stating to us today that this system is expected to hit us on a Saturday. And no doubt they are sitting jurisdiction in the northeast of Trinidad and also in south and central Trinidad, which could be impacted as a result of the system. So it is important that you get the thoughts of these stakeholders to find out from them what sort of proactive actions they are prepared to take to mitigate the level of suffering by residents in these areas. Stay with us here, 975 FM, hot like pepper, 27 minutes here past the hour of 8 o'clock. Note that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of Mr. Rajendra Rampasad, who is the People's National Movement candidate for the constituency of Couva South. Stay with us here, 975 FM, hot like pepper. Let's go to some commercials.
Are you tired of aches and pains in your joints and back area? Well, your relief is here with Ridopain Liniment. Ridopain Liniment gets rid of fibrositis, strains, sprained ligaments, stiffness, and all your arthritic and muscular pains. It is also excellent for sport injuries. Try Ridopain Liniment today. It really works. Available at Bartlett Drugs and all leading pharmacies nationwide.
KY's Electrical Supplies Limited of Southern Main Road, Canupia, for all your plumbing and electrical supplies, water heaters, filters, and water pumps, plus all parts for Gould, Pentax, and Leo pumps. Choose from leading brands such as Cooper, Varma, BT Sino, Leviton, and General Electric. Call 665-6954 for more information. KY's Electrical Supplies Limited of Southern Main Road, Canupia.
I have journeyed.
Greeted in the wonderful name of Jesus. My name is Bishop Kelvin Khan from Endurance Ministry International. Our new location is in Railway Road, Londonville. You can tune into 97.5 every Sunday morning from 6 a.m. till 8. Tell your nanny and your nana, Jesus is the answer.
It's Yummy Tummy Time with Ermi. Join me Mondays to Fridays at 9:30 a.m. and get tasty and exciting recipes. Learn to create dishes and much more right here on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. Yummy Tummy with Ermi.
So guys, the party continues this Saturday. Yes, this Saturday, the Hot Like Pepper Reloaded continues from 8 to 12 noon. Sharon Baru alongside DJ Vishal, 12 noon to 3 p.m. The captain takes full flight. Yes, Captain Kendall Juggernaut from 12 noon to 3 p.m. From 3 to 7 p.m. DJ Anil is in with the Hot Like Pepper mix. And from 7 to 1 a.m. the man Corky D is in the building and will mix it up for you into the morning. Tune in, log on 975radio.com for the Hot Like Pepper Saturdays Reloaded.
The following is a paid political announcement.
When I look back on the last 5 years, as a young working mother and wife, I have to say, things were so difficult. Going to the grocery, my salary could have barely made ends meet. My husband lost his job at Petrotrin. Our home is falling apart. We couldn't save. My daughter was born in the time of the UNC. I felt so confident that she had a bright future. God forbid, if this PNM returns, my household will be finished. On August 10th, my unemployed husband and I will be voting for our lives and our future. We will be voting UNC.
That was a paid political announcement.
Yes, indeed. Thanks for staying with us here at 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. It's just about 8:30 in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Let me inform you that at the top of the hour, you can join the Bees Hi-Fi, who will be taking you until the hour of 12 noon today with his version of a mid-morning and you. Well, yes, as the country prepares for this impending weather pattern, this weather system, the Met Office has forecasted that Tropical Storm Gonzalo will pass just north of Trinidad and Tobago on a Saturday. In an advisory last evening, it is reported that Tropical Depression 7 had developed into Tropical Storm Gonzalo. So this morning we spoke to a number of stakeholders who would have indicated that measures have been taken to ensure that some sort of relief is extended to those people affected by what we would describe as an impending flooding. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Morning, Miss Nicole. Morning, Mr. Kenrick.
Good morning, friend. How are you this morning?
Mr. Kenrick, while I'm moving around, I have one concern about you. You tell that little, I wouldn't say scared, a little one when I got yesterday, right? Because I heard people calling and bawling, oh, China no COVID, China no community spread. I know this morning I'm not seeing the urgency. I don't know by a little parlor there. Well, I remember, a guy came to buy the parlor. I know the guy didn't, and you can see, he's a service person, I like the fire service. And I know he's so responsible, not wearing, not having any mask. I mean, I find people have to beg them there, realizing the kind of serious of this thing, but when you look at the outside, yeah, I don't know how again we can beg people to wear, like China, I don't have to wait for everybody to pass a law and charge big money. You know, and it's for your own protection, because when you get sick, if you may go to the authority, what they will do, there is no known cure for this thing. I mean, say, just be suffering. Who you want to blame after?
No, well, the minister is right, you know, and I would have supported the minister and by extension the government of Trinidad and Tobago in the action that they would have taken to address this issue of COVID-19. Some people would have been very critical of me, calling me PNM and what have you, but go ahead.
Some people kind of fearful, like if they show some symptoms, to go to the institution, you know, because they want to fear the lockdown and all that sort of thing. So you have those cases and all people could have it, and they're fearful of going on again and self-exposure. So you see, that is why those of us who are healthy and moving around, or presumed to be healthy, need to really take the precaution. I don't know how we could beg people or encourage them. Hey,
no, it's my friend, it's one of our personal responsibility, you know. You have to look at what is the best interest of your look, because if you are reckless, if you are reckless and you do have what you call symptoms of the virus and you are reckless indeed, the very same people who we are trying to protect, they too will be putting their lives at risk.
Yeah, so I think at the end of the day, the people in the fixed business places, it's kind of tough to have one that right through for it, but at least those of us who visiting, remember, you need visiting our business place for a couple of minutes, right? So if we put on the mask and we'll protect ourselves and protect those people that are working in the place. Yeah, so let me see our best we can point it into them.
Well,
yeah, man.
Well, today my understanding is that the Ministry of Health will be holding a press conference, and maybe it is expected that some additional restrictions will be coming, some announcement would be made, because I don't think that the Ministry of Health would engage in any conference of such if they are not concerned about what is happening in Trinidad and Tobago. And I find it difficult to appreciate and understand why people, they have been clamoring, pounding doors, lamenting, making calls, engaging the services of attorneys and what have you, to make a presentation to the government of the day to come home. When such a measure is extended towards you, you are refusing and you are reluctant to even sign the necessary document. It's about protecting the interests of Trinidad and Tobago nationals. It is minimizing the risk. Now that these two cases are being investigated, case number 139 and 141, there seems to be this level of anxiety among the population. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning. Where's that, Chris?
From the sign, the ground form, and they present that with the immigration for the return. If they don't have it, just talk to immigration, them so
well, the Minister of Health did hinted such, he said before boarding return flights, nationals may have to sign a quarantine form agreeing to go into immediate 14-day quarantine on arrival.
What I did tweet on the port of embarkation, on the aircraft, you don't claim immigration without having signed the form. Simple as that.
And Chris, look at what transpired yesterday. 2 cases. The authorities cannot identify where these 2 cases are, or where it came from, or how they contract as such. It has been investigated, and the whole of Port of Spain went into panic mode.
Yeah, and whatever community, lock it down.
No, and there's another side to the story. The stigma now that will be attached to these companies, or let's say in this respect, Pennywise. The stigma that will be attached to that enterprise will certainly be impacted.
People can't go in there, and people must come from there. We have to know. We forget this stigma. We have to protect ourselves. Next thing, Henry. All the regional corporations, I talked to them this morning. They don't have maintenance. They sound like they don't have no maintenance,
Well, the cry is lack of resources and victimization.
Lack of resources, that is an excuse. Listen to me. If you don't have resources and you can't operate, why you taking legal salary? Resign the job.
No, but one must be mindful too, Chris, that previously, prior to Anuj Jutaram assuming office, the corporation rather was controlled by the People's National Movement.
If I'm working, I have responsibilities. I don't have what it takes to get the job done. I'm not going to sit there and fill my thumb to pay. I will saying, let me go and do something where I know I'm trying to be I get in. So I can say, I have the resources. You make them sign, do nothing. That's old talk. That's stupid. If you don't get the resources, make do with what we have, design. Thank you.
Okay, Crystal, thank you very much. Well, most people have a tendency when they make representation, they expect these representation to be immediate. And I've always said on this program that lamenting the lack of resources is a cop-out. Chris, you're right. You make do with what you have. There must be proper maintenance. But sometimes it's difficult to manage the situations, my friends. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Yeah, Kevin.
Good morning, sir.
Always talk about funds. You know, let me tell you something. You know how I know all corporations, they usually have excess funds in it? Remember that when the fella went to seize all them truck down in Siparia, the General Corporation?
Oh, yes, yeah.
When they find all that money, all in a sudden, a day or two, they find all that money, and the government will give them no money. So they have the money, but they don't like to spend the money. They want to keep it to show the government, we save this, and we save that, and we save the next, and the other. They have the money, and they always borrow the work fund. What they're doing with the money, ask anyone of their corporation and borrow. You show them your book that where you have zero funds. They will never show you that because they always have. And Siparia Regional Corporation show me that they always have money.
All right, friend. Well, thank you very much for your contribution here with me this morning. Yeah, I'm trying to keep you abreast as to what the Met Office would have said about this system. And the Met Office has forecasted that Tropical Storm Gonzalo will pass just north of this country on Saturday. It is expected to hit Tobago and so on. I also got a report this morning that Barbados, well, they are on a tropical storm watch. So we'll continue to keep you, we'll continue to monitor that system and keep you abreast of all the developments taking place. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Morning, Kenrick.
Hi, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. Kenrick, just to clarify something the last caller said, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you have money budgeted under the government service, it's not money you have, right? You go to the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Finance budget. They say you could have this. And for you to get those releases, right, you have to produce a lot of information. You just can't sit down and say, well, I want to buy tires, and you have $0 budget, and then you decide that you want to buy a load of gravel, and you could take the money from the tires and buy the gravel. It don't work so. And you have to go through the whole process, which involves the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Planning, right, in order to get those money moved. And so it's not cash in the bank that a corporation or ministry have. They have a budgeted sum. More than 20%, if not about close to 40%, of the money that we did here read in our budget is not real. It is fake, right? So we just, in this country, we like to fool ourselves. When we hear money, people or ministries returning money, it was never there. It was merely budgeted. When we hear the Ministry of National Security get X amount of billions of dollars, it's not that they write a check and they say, hey, look, Ministry of National Security. That is budgeted. It never reached the ministry, right? And for you to expend it, it takes so much process that by the end of the year, you could only spend about 60%. That is a fact of the matter, right? Now, I don't know if the Minister of Health say that there are these two cases. I don't know how and they don't know that they investigated. I don't know why they are linking it to nationals returning to Trinidad when there are non-nationals coming in to Trinidad from other borders, right? So we just want to justify why citizens of this country should not be brought in. And if they are brought in and the case is tied to one of them or two of them, it is not my responsibility to say that when they come, they should not be quarantined. The state have a right to make sure that they not only sign a form, because that doesn't really make it work, but if they have to be in a certain space, then they have to keep them there, right? So citizens that are coming in and they have a right to come in must be controlled by the state. You didn't give up that right when you brought them home, or that responsibility. I feel that the government is trying all kind of things to say this is a problem and that is a problem. Right? One, I believe the citizens should be brought home, and two, they must be quarantined. In fact, they should demonstrate before they leave the border that they are in that they were quarantined for 14 days before travel. Right? That is part of the rules that they have for travel now.
So you're talking about 14 and 14, that is 28 days.
Correct, but it is a protection on that side now, because when you enter an aircraft, because of the air condition in the aircraft, it is easily transported to another person.
Well, I tried to inform a colleague this morning that this virus is behaving in such a particular way that the incubation period, one cannot say whether it is 14 days, 28 days, or 34 days. Hence the reason why when people are in quarantine and they are released to go back into their various communities, there's a possibility that the virus could emerge again in that individual.
Correct. And even, let's say they visit their household, the members of that household have to have self-discipline to know that they should not be interacting with people, right, as they would normally do, because they have a risk in their hand, which is a family member coming back home. Right? They have to have that discipline. Now, even if the virus picks up steam, right, the fact of the matter is that the virus is here to stay. We have to deal with it. Right? Now, this government, right, if you have an administration whose modus operandi is to shut down, and then you have a pandemic which solution is to shut down, I must praise them for doing that. That is what it is do. Right? This country has been shut down by this government over the last 5 years. And now there is a disease that requires you to shut down. The PM does nothing else but shut down. Right? So they can't come for me to praise them to say, well, we didn't do nothing, because that's the solution for the pandemic.
All right.
Right?
All right, man. But share with me this matter concerning human trafficking in this country. It's a sore point indeed. And what are some of the measures that you are hoping that maybe the authorities of the day can introduce? We hear talk about increase in surveillance, increase in patrols, and so on. But that does not seem to be working, because you have more and more people coming into the country. The point I'm making here to you is this. These very same people who are complaining about these immigrants entering through the porous borders, these very same people encourage such by building and setting up little apartments and so on, and housing them and so on. So we are responsible for the situation, yes?
Well, Kenrick, I feel one of the qualifications for the police service should be that you must have eyesight. If we do have that, we would not be able to see what is the obvious, right? So I think we should raise the barrier a little bit and say all applicants must have eyesight, and an advantage would be to be able to hear, right? Because the law, a civil society is built on the premise that there is law. However, it is also built that there are people who are going to break the law. That's why we create the police service. Nobody can tell me if I put up an apartment to rent to non-nationals that I shouldn't do it. But when I do it, the police have to come and deal with me. You understand? We cannot say Tom, Dick, and Harry facilitating it. What I have to say is that where is the police service that has to arrest and remove, right, people like that?
Right.
So it requires a little eyesight and a little hearing.
All right, well, I hear you. But reports are also circulating that there are some police officers who are involved in the trade, that is human trafficking, and they encourage such. So what do we do as a people? What can the government do more? Anyway, stay with us here. 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. We're going to some commercials, and when we come back, we'll continue with our discussion. Stay with us. 975.
Road again with U975 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio. Yes, we're back with our road shows. Be part of the U975 FM bandwagon as we bring you live broadcasts from locations throughout the country. Come enjoy our company with music, entertainment, and lots of giveaways. Stay with the U975 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio for greater programming as we hit the road again.
I have journeyed.
Greeted in the wonderful name of Jesus. My name is Bishop Kelvin Khan from Endurance Ministry International. Our new location is in Railway Road, Londonville. You can tune into 97.5 every Sunday morning from 6 a.m. till 8. Tell your nanny and your nana, Jesus is the answer.
U97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio will be bringing you coverage of Election Day 2020. Look out for live capsule reports throughout the day as you make your way to the polls. Then you can join our live panel discussion from 8 p.m. as we bring to you the election results. Exclusive on U97.5 FM.
It is back. Talk Your Talk is back. This is Mukesh Baburam inviting you to join me right here on U975 FM for the return of Talk Your Talk from 6 to 9 p.m. Enjoy your favorite segments and feel free to make your comments as we journey together. So join me, Mukesh Baburam, for Talk Your Talk.
Let's talk Guyana. Join us as we share news and issues coming out of Guyana, Mondays to Fridays at 11 a.m. right here on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio.
This is Samaru Ramru inviting you on a journey down memory lane with enchanting songs on the program Nightline. Mondays to Thursdays, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Let your heart sing along with the music on U975 FM, Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio.
Yes, indeed, and welcome back to 975. Hello, good morning, and welcome. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Kenneth. Good morning, and good morning, Trinidad.
And good morning to you, sir.
Yes, I've been listening to your program. Very interesting indeed. And two things. I heard one of your callers call in earlier and spoke about funding.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just interject that funding to the local government municipalities are allocated. We receive monies every quarterly, and huge sums of monies, I can tell you that. And when, if you remember, Hazel Manning was the Minister of Local Government, at that time, I remember that, well, monies were returned to head office. And I had the opportunity of going up there personally to the permanent sec, taking a check back down to a specific regional corporation to be dispersed, even the amount of councillors to be to hire workers for the Christmas season. That's what the money was sent back for. So monies are indeed allocated and given to them, and for reasons one or the other they send them back. But however, she, in her capacity as the minister at that time, she had sent it back to be used wisely. The other point...
No, hold on. Before is this the voice which I ought to know, right?
Pardon me?
I ought to know this voice, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Just wanted to be sure. Go ahead.
Yes.
Because I know you're talking from a very strong background. Go ahead.
That's right. That's why I called in to clarify that. The second point is from the TTPS point of view. I understand the concerns of dealing with the influx of the Venezuelans into our country. Yes, they are here, and it is the police duties to deal with it. And to everything that happens in house, meaning on land, yes, the police are there to do what they need to do. However, let's take it a step back. What is the Coast Guard doing? Because I'm hearing everybody shooting down the police officers for not dealing with the situation. However, it is totally out of our hands when they are coming into our borders.
And I agree with you, because here it is. Remember the one time we had a marine branch of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service? What has happened to that?
That was just squashed.
Oh.
And for reasons I don't know, I can't understand. However, the Coast Guards are there, and it has been happening. Administrations come, administrations go. They are not spending enough, maybe not paying enough attention to this. And the TTPS is carrying blame for other persons. For instance, something happens today or tomorrow, the TTPS or the Commissioner of Police is called to answer questions. What about the seniors in the Coast Guard? They are not being questioned. They are not being interviewed with reference to what is taking place, and I think it's very unfair. However, it is here on the police. Yes, But I wouldn't say the resources are limited. However, the influx is very high, and to deal with it, it might be a challenge at this present time.
Well, the problem here is about managing what you have in front of you.
Yes.
You cannot always call on resources and say because of lack of resources this is happening. You must be able to manage the situation.
Yes, and I mean, if you're speaking of that, and yes, and I totally agree with you, and the crime situation as well in our country. This is by the way as well. We should not be fighting crime. We should be managing crime. And over the years, we have the resources. We have persons in place. We have hired persons from outside to advise us on how to manage crime. However, it's not being done.
All right, my friend. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with me. Always a pleasure talking to you, and all the best to you.
Yes, sir.
All right,
well,
thank you very much. Yeah. All right, folks, it's about that time where I bring the curtain down on today's edition of the morning program. It's just about 6 minutes here to the hour of 9 o'clock. And that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of Mr. Rajendra Rampasad, who is the People's National Movement candidate for the constituency of Couva South. Stay with us here, 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. Up next is the Bees Hi-Fi, who will be taking you until the hour of 12 noon with his version of Mid-Morning Anew. Before I go, I want to leave you with this selection.
Well, yeah. Oh, yo. Pala polo bolo bo pa pa pala pala balo bo pala lele. Yesterday has come and gone, leaving some of us to mourn. Times we had and friends we lost, and while nature took its course,